Chapter 1366. Moreover, with a daughter like Yao Yao, she is already quite content. If she were to give birth to 10 or 8 more, what would that be? Just thinking about it makes her shiver. Lu Changsheng initially was just joking around, teasing the other party. Unexpectedly, the usually tough-talking Nangong merely showed such an expression, which piqued his interest. He embraced her stunning figure and whispered in her ear, "What? You think it's too few? It's okay, as long as Mealy likes it. I wouldn't mind even more children. Get lost. You dog." Jinyang Sect Marketplace. In a shop with the signboard Little Bamboo Pavilion. Sister Qing Zhu, don't be so unapproachable. There's a banquet next month. If you attend with me, I promise I won't bother you anymore. A handsome young man in a brocade robe, holding a folding fan and putting on a charming demeanor, said to the woman in front of him. The woman's appearance was serene and beautiful, wearing a rainbow feather garment, with an ethereal and transcendent temperament. The man in the brocade robe looked at Lu Qingzhu before him, his eyes filled with a pounding heart. The present Lu Qingzhu not only had outstanding looks and temperament, but her brother Lu Qingshan was also a true disciple of the Jinyang sect and a nascent soul seed. If he could become Dao companions with her, not only could he hope for advancement within the sect, but even the family status would greatly improve. Brother Yi, I have no interest in you. Please respect yourself and don't disturb my shop's business. Lu Qingzhu pursed her lips and said aloud. She had been in the sect for many years and naturally had many people approach and pursue her, especially since her brother Lu Qingshan frequently went on missions over the years. Fearing she would be bored alone, he set up a shop in the Jinyang Sect Marketplace for her to pass the time, leading to many peers, even clan cultivators, harassing her. Sister Qingzhu, your shop earns at most 1,000 spirit stones per day. If you adjust S.E. of the novel F. Ire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The man in the brocade robe chuckled and continued to speak. This fairy Qingzhu had a temper completely opposite to her brother Lu Qingshan, known for her well-tempered disposition. So they often resorted to pestering tactics against Lu Qingzhu. Just then, on the street, a handsome youth with a strong build and bright eyes confidently walked into the Little Bamboo Pavilion, calling out loudly, "Little Bamboo." However, when he saw the man in the brocade robe, his eyes narrowed immediately, and a murderous intent flashed. The man in the brocade robe shuddered upon seeing the youth, respectfully saying, "Greetings, Brother Lu." He then cupped his hands toward Lu Qingzhu, saying, "Sister Lu, I have some matters to attend to, so I must take my leave." He knew well that years ago, when an inter-sect disciple harassed Lu Qingzhu, he was beaten almost to death by Lu Qingshan within the sect. If it weren't for the arrival of the enforcement hall, the person might even have been killed by Lu Qingshan. But they dared to approach Lu Qingzhu because they knew Lu Qingshan was usually absent. Moreover, this sister Lu was known for her good temper. As long as they didn't go too far, she wouldn't complain to Lu Qingshan. "You dog, I've warned you many times, and yet you still dare to harass my sister?" Lu Qingshan raised his sword-like eyebrows, his expression cold, as he strode forward and grabbed the man's neck, lifting him up. "Brother Lu, I just came to buy something from Sister Lu." The young man in the brocade robe trembled as he spoke. Although he was a Foundation establishment cultivator, facing Lu Qingshan, he didn't even have the courage to fight back. "Brother." Lu Qingzhu quickly called out upon witnessing this scene, fearing that her brother would act recklessly. After all, fighting was prohibited both in the sect and in the marketplace. Previously, her brother was confined for half a year by the enforcement hall for severely injuring someone in the sect and had to make amends through tasks. If not for her brother's exceptional talent, such an incident would not have been punished so lightly and easily dismissed. Boom! Lu Qingshan snorted coldly, sword chi swirling in his palm, and then heavily threw him outside onto the street, his face turning pale, and he spat out blood. "If I see you again, I'll kill you." Lu Qingshan's eyes were as sharp as two swords, making one dare not meet his gaze. The cultivators on the street were shocked and uncertain upon seeing this scene, wondering who had the audacity to cause trouble in the marketplace. Did they not know this was under the Jinyang sect? Thank you, Brother Liu. The young man in the brocade robe knew that Lu Qingshan was truly capable of doing such things, thinking about how unlucky he was to run into this devil upon his return. He clutched his chest, suppressing the overbearing sword chi within, and thanked him before leaving in embarrassment. Little Bamboo, you really don't need to pay too much mind to people like that. The nicer you are, the more they'll push their limits. Lu Qingshan habitually ruffled his sister's black, silky hair and said, Brother, I understand. Lu Qingzhu bowed her head and whispered, Sai, what do you mean you understand? Lu Qingshan smiled wryly at his sister's demeanor, but he also knew his sister's character. As long as things weren't too excessive, she wouldn't bother with others. Additionally, she acted this way to avoid causing trouble for him. Brother, you must be tired from your task this time, right? Lu Qingzhu pouted and gently changed the topic, pouring tea for him. Then, the siblings sat down nearby, and Lu Qingshan recounted his task experience to his sister. Though the task was dangerous, he spoke of it lightly and easily, as if it was a breeze. After which, he took out a pile of heavenly and earthly treasures from his storage bag. Because Lu Qingzhu had a spiritual pet, the Earth Spirit Mouse, she could identify treasures. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1367. Lu Qingzhu herself usually likes to read books and has trained in pupil skills, making her somewhat of a treasure appraiser. So Lu Qingshan opened this shop for his sister, doing business in this area. Every time he came back from a mission, he would consign the heavenly and earthly treasures he obtained to his sister's shop, making the little bamboo loft business quite successful in the Jinyang sect's marketplace. Little Bamboo, I don't have anything to do next, and just in half a month, the spiritual vessel of the Jinyang sect will head to Azure Phoenix Immortal City, so we can go home for a visit. Lu Qingshan looked at his sister's quiet demeanor, smiled, and said, he actually felt indifferent about going home. After all, a man travels the world. How can he always long for his hometown? The day he truly wants to return must be the day he's famous, makes a great name, shakes the Yu country, and forms his golden core. However, his sister Lu Qingzhu is different from him in personality and is very attached to home. Now that he has time, he is naturally willing to accompany his sister to visit home. Additionally, he remembered his father advised earlier to return, when there's time, to reforge the heavenly circulation starry sword. But besides reforging the sword, he has one more thing he wants to ask his father. As time passes, his cultivation level increases, and his sword Dao continues to advance. The sword seed within him has almost fused with him. In this process, he can clearly feel the increasing enhancement it brings to him. In such a situation, he is also somewhat curious about where his father obtained this sword seed. After all, he's no longer a novice in cultivation. He clearly realizes the preciousness of this sword seed, which is definitely not something his father picked up casually, his head said. Yeah, okay. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingzhu's eyebrows curved with a smile, and she happily responded. Then she immediately asked her brother what gifts she should prepare. Just a token will do. Lu Qingshan said somewhat speechlessly. Even with their situation, no matter how rich, they can't afford it. Moreover, it's not easy for his sister to earn spirit stones. After chatting for a while, he also asked his sister if she acquired any treasures lately. Lu Qingshan has always disliked owing favors. In the past, he obtained the heavenly circulation starry sword embryo from Lu Rui, and he's always remembered this matter. So, over the years, he has also prepared a few treasures. But in his view, these few treasures still fall short compared to the heavenly circulation starry sword embryo, so he's planning to prepare more. By Lake Mountain, Mount Sumeru, Cave Heaven. In Changsheng Hall, Lu Changsheng sat cross-legged, a green lotus seat spinning in front of him. Refining this treasure emperor lotus is not easy. After a long while, he opened his eyes, took a deep breath, and said with emotion, "If not for the Tianyuan true monarch helping him establish a connection with the Treasure Emperor Lotus, it would take 3 to 5 years to refine this lotus seat into a second Dantian." He didn't bury himself in refining. He walked out of the cave mansion, intending to relax. Oh no, to strive for the family's future. Just as he exited Changsheng Hall, Lu Changsheng saw in the distance the stump-like peachwood spirit womb flowing with pink radiance. 9 peach blossoms, exquisitely crafted like jade, breathing in spiritual energy, extraordinarily beautiful. Lu Changxing knew that this sign indicated Hong Lian would soon complete the reconstruction of her physical body and break out of the womb. He was delighted. Once Hong Lian's physical body is reconstructed, he could head to the Jin Kingdom without worry. As soon as he stepped out of the cave heaven, Lu Changsheng raised an eyebrow, seeing a swirl of nature's spiritual energy forming a vortex in the distant back mountain, indicating someone was attempting a foundation establishment breakthrough. And, judging by the looks of it, the breakthrough seemed imminent. Lu Changsheng went to the Lu family mansion, casually inquiring, and learned that the person undergoing foundation establishment was from the 100 Birds Lake by family. By family, Lu Changxing heard this and felt somewhat emotional. Over the years, apart from not providing them with foundation establishment elixirs, he had given them considerable support, ensuring no shortage of shared benefits. The Bai family also used these resources to support 2 people towards foundation establishment, but both failed their breakthrough. Now, seeing that the Bai family finally produced a second foundation establishment cultivator, Lu Changxing was happy for them. Beside him, Lu Miaoyun, Lu Miaohuan, and others also felt somewhat emotional. They recalled the past, when by Lake Mountain, Qingzhou Mountain, 100 Birds Lake, and Wugong Ridge formed an alliance. Now, decades later, Wugong Ridge has changed hands. 100 Birds Lake has finally nurtured its second foundation establishment cultivator, and Qingzhou Mountain also has 3 foundation establishment cultivators. As for Bai Lake Mountain, it has already become a false core family, with more than 20 foundation establishment cultivators. Search * the novel Fire. Inti website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Usually, they felt somewhat emotional, but not much else. Yet, at this moment, compared with Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake, they clearly realized how impressive their growth was. No wonder it made many families jealous. Xingqian has a Dao companion. During dinner, while Lu Changsheng was chatting with his wives and concubines, he heard something, lightly raised his brow, and laughed. Nowadays, as the children of Bai Lake Mountain grow older, they gradually start families. He was happy to see such situations, and hearing that his son Lu Xingqian has a Dao companion, he was slightly pleased. It seems they're not quite Dao companions yet, but I've heard from Saijin that the 2 almost have that intent. Xia Zizhu briefly mentioned the situation of the girl. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing nodded slightly, not saying much. The descendants will have their own fortunes, and he is happy to see such matters but would not interfere. However, hearing that the other party was a loose cultivator, he still instructed the family to investigate her background slightly. After all, with the current situation of the Lu family, many people have their eyes on them, and some might think of making a breakthrough from the Lu family disciples. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1368. Time flies quickly. In the blink of an eye, 3 months have passed. In these days, apart from refining the Tianyuan lotus, Lu Changsheng spent all other time accompanying his wives and children. Through his efforts over these 3 months, Xia Zizhu finally conceived their 6th child, and Zhao Qingqing conceived their 2nd. The 2 ladies have been given special care for long, but they were unable to conceive until now. Indeed, perseverance pays off. Aside from the 2, another concubine named Lin Qingyu also conceived. Not long ago, she consumed the foundation establishment elixir and, with Lu Changsheng's help, successfully broke through foundation establishment. Therefore, Lu Changsheng celebrated her well, and the pregnancy was quite smooth, conceiving in just days. However, this woman has a fourth-grade spiritual root. Now, breaking through foundation establishment, not conceiving more is indeed a pity. Master, on this day, Lu Changsheng was inspecting the Lu family school with his wives. Suddenly, the voice of Mount Suru resonated in his mind, indicating the Peachwood spirit womb showed activity. Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng was immediately pleased, knowing Hong Lian was about to be born. He waved his hand to indicate the day's inspection was over. No matter what happens, education is the grand plan of the family, the future of the family, and cannot be ignored or allowed to fail. Father, rest assured. Husband is right. We adhere to father's teachings. The wives and Lu family disciples around him all responded. After a few words of advice, Lu Changsheng went to the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. The originally shimmering Peachwood spirit womb, absorbing nature's spiritual energy, now emitted divine light, dazzling and splendid, with an aromatic fragrance that spread, making one's pores relax and mind at ease. Such a phenomenon upon the birth of a spiritual womb is truly astounding. With emotion, Lu Changsheng anticipated, watching the Peachwood spirit womb before him. In Changsheng Hall, Lu Miaoge, who was in closed-door cultivation, also felt slight disturbances and stepped out of the hall. Her hair was elegantly swept up, dressed in a simple yet refined plain white dress, her tall and graceful figure exuding elegance. Seeing the remarkable phenomenon like celestial glow in the Peachwood spirit womb from afar, she exclaimed with some surprise, "Changsheng, is Senior Hong Lian about to complete the physical form? Judging by the looks of it, it won't be long before she is born." Lu Changsheng smiled slightly, holding his wife's fair and smooth slender hand, sitting at the nearby jade table, brewing tea with the spiritual spring, chatting while waiting for Hong Lian to be born. Regarding Hong Lian's matter, he had long informed Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, Ling Zixiao, and others, so they were all aware. Thinking that now, with Hong Lian about to be born, he could go out with peace of mind, Lu Changsheng called Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and others to come to acquaint themselves with Hong Lian. The birth of Hong Lian was slower than Lu Changsheng anticipated. After waiting for more than half a month, the brilliant Peachwood stump suddenly shattered explosively. Woo, 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 saw the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Countless wood chips danced like a radiant floral rain, swirling everywhere. Subsequently, a goddess with a flawless pure white body, whiter and more delicate than white jade, walked out from the dreamlike floral rain. Her figure is gracefully elegant, with crystal-clear hair cascading down to her waist, covering her mutton-fat, jade-like snowback. Her neck is slender, her shoulders seem sculpted, her arms like tender orchids, her waist is refined as if bound with silk, her legs like jade. Her face is extraordinarily beautiful, defying description even with phrases like enchanting allure. The entire person possesses a beauty blessed by nature, along with a grace that has been refined through the years, noble and elegant. Young master, Hong Lian looked at Lu Changsheng, her beautiful eyes glowing with a pink sheen filled with joy and excitement. Reforming her physical body was her only obsession since awakening. Now, she finally succeeded in recreating her physical form. Moreover, by reforming her physical body through the spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, she would not only return to her peak within hundreds of years, but might even venture further. At this moment, she was extremely jubilant. Not bad. Lu Changsheng observed Hong Lian before him with admiration in his eyes. Previously, through Hong Lian's soul state, he could see her appearance was delicate and exquisite, truly peerless. Now, through the Peachwood spirit womb, reforming her physical body, her charm not only did not diminish the slightest, but even further manifested into true perfection, flawless, with divine elegance and beauty fit for a masterpiece. like a person walking out of a painting. Congratulations to Senior Hong Lian for reforming her physical body. At this moment, Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao looked at Hong Lian before them and congratulated her. Even though they knew this Senior Hong Lian before them would surely become part of the family. But the figure before them is still a nascent soul true lord. Even though she may not be at her peak now, having reformed her body, she is still a nascent soul immortal. Thus they hold sincere respect. Congratulations to Senior Hong Lian on reforming her physical body. Lu Miaoyun, Lu Miaohuan, Chu Zhenjin, Bai Ling, Bing among others, also expressed their congratulations. You all are truly too courteous. Just call me Hong Lian. Knowing that all the ladies present were Lu Changsheng's wives and that she herself would most likely become sisters with them in the future, Hong Lian naturally would not act superior and said with a smile, Hong Lian, aren't you cold? At this time, Lu Changsheng asked Hong Lian as she spoke with the ladies. Hong Lian was momentarily bewildered upon hearing this, not understanding what he meant. However, in the next moment, she suddenly realized, having just reformed her physical body, unlike her previous soul state, she was now not properly clothed. Reflecting on exposing her J-body before Lu Changsheng and so many people, even though she once was a nascent soul true lord, she felt inexpressibly shy at this moment. Most especially seeing Lu Changsheng's unabashed and appreciative gaze towards her, she felt overwhelmingly embarrassed, wishing she could find a place to hide. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1369. Lu Miaoge immediately took out a robe and handed it to Hong Lian, only to see Hong Lian gently raise her delicate hand, and the crystal clear wood chips from the previously exploded peachwood spirit womb were directly condensed by her into a red luxurious palace dress. Although the peachwood spirit womb was used by her to create a physical body, the remaining materials were still precious and rare, especially the 9 crystal clear petals on the stump, which could be refined into a life-bound magic treasure. Buzz. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The 9 peach petals slowly floated onto her black silky hair, vibrant and brilliant, adding an extra touch of beauty to her. Thank you, Taoist Miaoge. As a spirit embryo physique, these remaining materials from the spirit womb resonate with me. Wearing them long-term will benefit my cultivation. Hong Lian, being a person experienced in major events, only blushed slightly for a moment before returning to normal, her voice light and melodious. Hong Lian, how is your strength now? Lu Changsheng looked at Hong Lian in front of him, curious to inquire. Although Hong Lian had just emerged and was only at the 3rd rank. But as a spirit embryo physique, her foundation should not be inferior to a superior grade gold core, or even a 1st grade gold core. Young master, my current cultivation and magical power are enough to rival a 1st grade gold core. However, my spirit embryo has just formed, and I haven't cultivated any methods yet. Previously, I couldn't use any divine skills or refine magic treasures, so in terms of combat power, I can only be considered at the initial stage of core formation. Hong Lian voiced. Originally, she could have allowed the spirit embryo to continue nurturing and even use it to cultivate and perfect her cultivation techniques. But she knew Lu Changsheng had many tasks entrusted to her, so she spent all her time and energy on reshaping her physical body. Now that the body has been reshaped, breaking out from the womb equated to a blank slate at the core formation stage, and in battle, only relying on magical power suppression. Ordinary core formation. Lu Changsheng nodded. He understood that this ordinary core formation did not refer to some low-grade core formation novice, but a middle-grade true elixir. However, if I employ certain techniques, I can hold my own against some at the middle stage of core formation. Hong Lian added, even though she currently couldn't use many spells and divine skills. But during her peak, she was a nascent soul true lord, still possessing some secret techniques as trump cards. If truly fighting to the death, not to mention the middle stage of core formation, even the late stage, she could hope to severely injure them. However, she felt there was no need to boast too much about this. All right, in preparing to go on a long journey, I need you to be in charge at home. Lu Changsheng didn't focus too much on her combat strength and spoke out. He had stayed at home all these days to accompany his wives and children, waiting for Hong Lian to be born, so he could then head to the Jin Kingdom. Now that Hong Lian was born, he naturally did not intend to delay any longer. Please rest assured, young master, Hong Lian will certainly oversee everything at home. Hong Lian's voice was gentle and pleasant, like a distant breeze. After speaking, she looked towards Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao, and the others, saying, "Then I will rely on you fellow Taoists for advice." Taoist Hong Lian is too polite. Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, and others quickly said. Although Hong Lian was unassuming and referred to them as peers, they still felt a bit constrained in front of her. Regarding this, Lu Changxing said nothing. With time, after getting along, things will naturally improve. Lu Changsheng then briefly explained the situation. The main task for Hong Lian was to take over his usual affairs: alchemy, artifact refining, and teaching. In terms of alchemy, she would be responsible for creating rare elixirs like the Foundation Establishment Elixir and the Breakthrough Elixir. As a third-rank superior grade alchemist, her level was a tier higher than Lu Changsheng's, and creating the elixirs needed by Lake Mountain was naturally not a problem. As for artifact refining, it depended on the need to forge some magic artifacts for family use. Currently, Lu Changsheng primarily planned to use the Heartburn Flame to forge a qi refining tower. Lu Changsheng had been very interested in this qi refining tower, but was always too busy, so he planned to leave it for Hong Lian to forge. With Hong Lian being a third-rank artifact refiner and an array master, she was even more suitable for forging this qi refining tower than Lu Changxing himself. Additionally, his trip to the Jin Kingdom was expected to take about a year, and if it proved too challenging, they could work together on it upon his return. As for the last task of teaching, it was one of the earliest duties Lu Changsheng had intended to assign to Hong Lian. After finishing, Lu Changsheng extracted the Heartburn Flame from the system space, letting it float in the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. He then handed over the Cave Mystique Treasure Mirror after erasing his mark on it. Hong Lian glanced at the invisible Heartburn Flame, accepted the Cave Mystique Treasure Mirror, and seriously said, "Please rest assured, young master." This act by Lu Changsheng instilled a sense of trust in her. By the way, there is also this magic treasure. If you have time, perhaps you could reforge it. Lu Changsheng took out another magic treasure, which was White Peak Immortal's Lifebound magic treasure. Back when he killed White Peak Immortal, he acquired 3 magic treasures. The set of 9 small arrows was currently being used by him. He had initially dismissed the opponent's flying escape treasure, gifting it to his daughter Lu Wangshu for cultivating the treasure body technique. As for this small platinum mountain, he had considered reforging it himself for use in body cultivation techniques. But, again, he was too busy with work, leaving no time or energy for artifact refining. He barely managed to occasionally create some talismans now, even in the field of talisman making. Ling Zixiao, looking at this watermelon-sized white platinum mountain exuding a thick and heavy aura, couldn't help but take a few extra glances, saying, "This magic treasure seems to resemble White Peak Immortal's Lifebound magic treasure." Lu Changsheng was a bit surprised that Ling Zixiao recognized this magic treasure. It seemed that White Peak Immortal was indeed quite famous. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1370. He immediately chuckled and said, "Yes, it's that lifebound magic treasure of White Peak Immortal." Ling Zixiao was taken aback, looking at Lu Changsheng with some confusion. Beside her, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and the other women also had expressions of surprise and doubt, looking at their husband in shock. Even though they hadn't traveled far, They had heard of the famous White Peak Immortal, once challenged Azure Phoenix Immortal, and later became the master of Azure Phoenix Immortal City, serving as the City Lord. But most shocking was shortly after assuming the City Lord role, the White Peak Immortal was inexplicably assassinated under unclear circumstances. Yet now, the life-bound magic treasure of this White Peak Immortal appeared in their husband's hand. Could it be? But this is too astonishing, isn't it? Although, when White Peak Immortal perished, their husband happened to be heading to Myriad Beast mountain range. Could it really be such a coincidence? Besides, this White Peak Immortal was an old core formation, able to master the Azure Phoenix Immortal City. His strength was undeniable. At that time, their husband had just broken through core formation and didn't even have a magic treasure. Even if he congealed an immortal golden core, it wouldn't be possible to slay White Peak Immortal, right? Speaking of this, it's quite a coincidence, System Yauga, Huan Xiao. Do you remember the treasure map from those robber cultivators in Red Leaf Valley back then? Lu Changshang smiled and began to speak, briefly telling the story of White Peak Immortal. Since it was mentioned, he had no reason to hide it. Besides, as he was going to the Gene Kingdom soon, his wife was always somewhat worried about his strength. And just saying he didn't have it, this tale could also give his wife a clear comparison and understanding of his strength, so she wouldn't worry excessively. I didn't expect White Peak Immortal was slain by husband. Ling Zixiao and the other women were all in a daze after hearing this, full of shock and some disbelief. Even Ling Zixiao, who usually had the most trust in Lu Changsheng's strength, was shocked at this moment. After all, she recognized White Peak Immortal's magic treasure after seeing this person's life story, knowing he was quite extraordinary. Although coming from a loose cultivator background, his rise could be regarded as a legend of his time. Only after encountering Azure Phoenix Immortal, he was forced to flee to Jiang country, causing his fame to be unheard for nearly 100 years. But eventually returning and taking over Azure Phoenix Immortal City was sufficient to indicate his exceptional strength. Yet such a person was slain by their husband. It was simply astonishing. Beside her, Hong Lian remained calm, finding it natural. Even though Lu Changsheng had just broken through core formation, without divine skills or a life-bound magic treasure then. But not having a life-bound magic treasure doesn't mean he has no other magical treasures, right? Not to mention, the Cave Mystique treasure mirror he casually gave her just now was obviously a top-level magic treasure. In these circumstances, to say Lu Changsheng has no treasures, she would never believe it. And the heartburn flame, which stirs others' inner fire and emotions, that heavenly spiritual fire, is considered invaluable. But Lu Changsheng used it for the cultivation of Lu family disciples at home. In situations like this, how does he seem like someone lacking means? She even thought that Lu Changsheng's trust in her was, in fact, a form of confidence, absolute confidence in himself. Husband, I heard Azure Phoenix Immortal City is still without a city lord. Can't you take over? Lu Maohun's eyes sparkled with interest as she spoke. After all, the name of Azure Phoenix Immortal City was something she had heard of since childhood. Now, unknowingly, her husband had surpassed the master of such an immortal city. If they could take over such an immortal city for themselves, just thinking about it was exciting. Now Azure Phoenix Immortal City is controlled by the joint forces of Jiang Country and Yu Country, with deputy city lords appointed by the two countries. How to take over? Huan, you mustn't speak of this recklessly elsewhere. Lu Miaoga saw her sister speaking like this and immediately spoke softly. Although she mostly spent her time cultivating, she also kept an eye on the situation information of the cultivation world. Knowing that White Peak Immortal's incident caused quite a stir, only overshadowed by the Tianyuan Secret Realm event. If word got out, it might bring a lot of trouble. Sar the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I know. I was just saying casually. Lu Miaohuan pouted. Haha. White Peak Immortal previously sought refuge with you country's immortal sect and was pushed onto the stage, completely different from the Azure Phoenix Immortal of the past. So this Azure Phoenix Immortal city has actually always been held by Jiang country and Yu country. Lu Changsheng chuckled, understanding his wife's nature, so he spoke casually. After briefing Hong Lian, Lu Changsheng informed Mount Sumeru to slightly pay attention to Hong Lian's situation. If there were any issues, he would tell Lu Miaoge. If he wasn't around, just follow Lu Miaoge's arrangements. Then he gave the Thousand Faces puppet fox to Ling Zixiao. For one, having the Thousand Faces puppet fox around, Ling Zixiao or Lu Miaoge would have something to carry for self-defense when going out, avoiding accidents. Another reason was that he might occasionally need to appear after just coming out of the Tianyuan secret realm. In such cases, the Thousand Faces puppet fox could be used for illusionary disguise. Perhaps a nascent soul, immortal, might see through the illusion, but ordinary cultivators and family forces he interacted with daily wouldn't be able to see through the illusionary disguise of the Thousand Faces puppet fox. Besides, with his current strength, having or not having the Thousand Faces puppet fox actually doesn't make much difference. Better to leave it at home for more significant effects. After ensuring the family's affairs were arranged properly, Lu Changsheng spent a few more days with his wife, then left by Lake Mountain silently. Originally, he planned to wait until Bai Ling had her child, but it had been a year and a half with no signs of giving birth, so Lu Changsheng couldn't wait any longer. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1371. After leaving by Lake Mountain, Lu Changsheng did not head straight to Jin Kingdom, but first made a detour to Qinyun sect to bid farewell to Xianxia. Shiyu, you can visit by Lake Mountain later to discuss the supreme forgetful love technique with Hong Lian. It might give you some inspiration. If it's not urgent, you can also wait for my return, but this journey might take 1 or 2 years before I come back. Lu Changsheng said this. Traveling from Jiang country to Jin Kingdom, the journey is long, and even a nascent soul cultivator rushing with all his might would take 3 to 4 months. Sir, the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. However, the border between the two countries has vast areas of spiritless lands and barren lands, making it difficult for cultivators to rest and replenish during the journey. Moreover, many robber cultivators, heretic cultivators, and wanted criminals hide in such places to ambush passersby. Thus, nascent soul cultivators do not rush at full speed when crossing the border. They slow down, traveling by spirit boats or mounts to avoid excessive mana depletion and potential dangers on the way. Hence, a round trip between the two countries takes at least a year. Alright, Changsheng, be careful on your journey. Xianxia had long known that Lu Changsheng was going to Jin Kingdom. She even gathered plenty of information about Jin Kingdom through Qinyun sect for Lu Changsheng. After bidding farewell to Xianxia and spending several warm days together, Lu Changsheng set off towards White Tiger Mountain. Since returning from the Tianyuan secret realm, he had yet to visit White Tiger Mountain and Flower Fruit Mountain. Now, as he was about to embark on a distant journey again, it was natural to come and check on his children at home. Arriving at White Tiger Mountain, Lu Changsheng saw that his son, Lu Xianxia, looked even older. He once again asked if he wanted to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. But Lu Xianxia still declined, smiling as he expressed that he was very content. Lu Changsheng nodded slightly, saying nothing further. After leaving White Tiger Mountain, he went to Flower Fruit Mountain to briefly check on the situation there and then headed towards Misty Rain Market. Lu Changsheng, if you want to come at me. Fei is pregnant. What if the child gets hurt? Yin Lan quickly said with a tense expression as she embraced her sister into the cave mansion upon seeing Lu Changsheng. Don't worry, I have experience. Lu Changsheng glanced at her and said flatly. Then he softly said to Yu Fei, there's an old saying that a dutiful son emerges from beneath the stick. Yu Fei, Yin Lan. The two women glared at Lu Changsheng with furrowed brows, unable to comprehend what he was saying. Out of concern for the child, Yu Fei was very restrained. Yin Lan, worried that Lu Changsheng might harm the child in her sister's belly, was very accommodating, letting Lu Changsheng do as he pleased and even swaying her jade body actively to cooperate. A few days later, Lu Changsheng left Misty Rain Market and found the Lu family merchant caravan led by Lu Rui. Be careful, be vigilant. The caravan kept several fearful rats. These demon beasts, true to their name, were extremely timid and very sensitive to the aura of killing intent, evil chi, demon chi, etc. As soon as they sensed any spiritual pressure or chi mechanism, they would tremble, so they were often used by many caravans to guard against danger. At this moment, Lu Changsheng did not conceal his aura much, so as soon as he appeared, the entire caravan was on high alert. Not bad. Lu Changsheng nodded slightly as he observed the scene before him. Mountain Lord. Father. Grandpa. Immediately, some cultivators from by Lake Mountain and Lu family disciples recognized Lu Changsheng, calling out loudly, paying their respects, and even kneeling. Dad! In the carriage compartment of a pack beast, Lu Rui heard the commotion and immediately called out with a look of surprise and joy. She had a tall stature and wore a golden soft armor. Her face, originally somewhat heroic, now bore a few traces of authority, possibly due to handling family business matters. Hee, I just happen to have nothing to do and came to check on you all, Lu Changsheng said with a smile. Then he stepped forward, patting his daughter's head, and praised, Rui, these days have been hard on you all. He had heard about the merchant caravan issues from home and knew they faced quite some danger. Lu Rui had gotten injured a few times in the process, and it was only with Lu Wangshu bringing family puppets to hold the fort that they stabilized the situation. These are just things a daughter should do. It's nothing much. Lu Rui shook her head and did not take credit. Regarding the family business, the greatest obstacles had long been taken care of by her elder brother and aunt, and the family provided full support, investing heavily in replenishment during the journey. Under such circumstances, she felt she was merely doing what she could. Take credit when it's due, Lu Changsheng smiled and said, asking briefly about the current situation of the caravan and the business. Then he showed some concern for other Lu family disciples. When he saw Lu Xianxi's son, Lu Xuanyu, Lu Changsheng told him to return early after finishing this trip. This grandson showed remarkable talent in puppetry, far surpassing Lu Xianxia, and was now a top-level, first-grade puppet master. Originally a talent of this technical type, a core figure in the puppet workshop, he seldom traveled. But the Lu family's puppet workshop trained a puppet guard squad, so he was sent over by Lu Xianxia. Now that there was a new fourth-rank puppet legacy at home, Lu Changsheng felt he should focus on studying it upon returning. Maybe he could draw parallels and advance to a second-rank puppet master. Yes, Grandpa, Lu Xuanyu responded respectfully. After staying with the Lu family merchant caravan for 3 days and experiencing the daily life of the caravan, Lu Changsheng gave his daughter 10 third-rank lower-grade talisman for self-defense, then left gracefully, and using the blood-tracking talisman, found his daughter Lu Wangshu at Hemming Mountain. He saw his daughter Lu Wangshu sparring with his son, Lu Lingxiao. Lu Lingxiao wielded black flames brimming with auras of destruction and decay in one hand and held a crimson feather fan in the other. And as he moved, billowing flames surged, fiercely intimidating, making the air seem to ignite. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1372. Lu Wangshu wore a pink and white dress, tall and elegant, with densely packed mystical runes covering her body, suppressing the surrounding flames. She then drew talismans in the void, bombarding Lu Lingxiao with an unending series, forcing him to defend as his energy was gradually consumed. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng shook his head lightly. If not for the profound origin bead, and if his daughter didn't use the third-rank talismans and second-rank top-level talismans he gave her, to be honest, she wouldn't be a match for his son Lu Lingxiao. This son, though his dragon roar physique is incomplete, yet his talent, comprehension, and temperament are all top-notch. Plus he has Hong Lian as an excellent mentor, with a cultivation technique that complements his dragon roar physique. Moreover, during the Qi refinement realm, with his help, he refined the catastrophe flame, a second-rank spiritual fire, making him particularly formidable in attack and destruction. Even ordinary cultivators in the Foundation establishment middle stage fear confronting him head-on and must be careful of the burning flames. But alas, he met Lu Wangshu. With the profound origin bead, Lu Wangshu not only surpassed Lu Lingxiao in cultivation level by one realm, but also had seemingly endless mana. In such circumstances, it can be said she naturally countered Lu Lingxiao. After all, Lu Lingxiao lacks defensive measures, focusing on attack, and if he can't break through Lu Wangshu's talisman formation, he will gradually fall into a passive position. Once passive, let alone the initial stage of Foundation establishment Lu Lingxiao, even those in the late stage couldn't outlast Lu Wangshu. Knowing this, Lu Changxing still did not intervene, silently watching his children spar. After a long while, as Lu Lingxiao's mana gradually dwindled, Lu Wangshu stopped and said with a smile, "Lingxiao, thank you for your patronage." Lu Lingxiao didn't speak, tossing a storage bag to Lu Wangshu. "Next time you want to challenge your sister, I'll start at 5,000 spirit stones," Lu Wangshu said with a smile, accepting the storage bag without hesitation and lightly weighing it with her jade hand. "Umph." Without saying anything else, Lu Lingxiao merely snorted coldly. Though quite disgruntled, he always bet on willingly accepting the loss. Good grief. Lu Changsheng, watching this scene, felt a bit speechless. He always knew these children frequently sparred, but he never imagined they also charged fees. Challenging her once cost 5,000 spirit stones. Even though hiring Lu Wangshu for a round wasn't considered much at 5,000 spirit stones. But his son had only just started earning some spirit stones, which were likely all falling into his daughter Lu Wangshu's hands. If Ling Zixiao found out, he would probably be too annoyed to speak. A few days ago, Ling Zixiao even said Lu Wangshu and Lu Lingxiao had become sensible, and their sibling relationship had improved a lot. "Wangshu, why are you bullying your brother again?" Lu Changsheng appeared through the void and spoke up. "Ah." With a smiling face suddenly stiffened with surprise, Lu Wangshu exclaimed, "Dad, why did you suddenly appear?" But in an instant, she was all smiles, happily taking her father's arm, saying, "Oh, Dad, I've missed you so much. My brother and I were just sparring to improve each other." Saw the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Her appearance was bright and charming, her voice innocent, completely different from the Wangshu fairy everyone else saw daily. "Dad, we were just normally sparring," Lu Lingxiao said as well. Seeing his son like this, Lu Changsheng shook his head helplessly. Thinking his son's stubbornness seemed hereditary, he said nothing more, smiling as he spoke. "Since I haven't seen you for so long, I came by to check on you." "Umph. I heard that you, Dad, returned from the Tianyuan secret realm 5 months ago, and I'm guessing you've been home long since you just didn't announce it, only finally coming to see us now." Lu Wangshu huffed, pouting. "Are you turning the tables on me?" Lu Changsheng fondly ruffled his daughter's black silky hair, saying, "I had some matters to attend to." Lu Wangshu wasn't bothered, curiously asking, "Dad, how did you get in?" "Just now. Neither Ling Xiao nor I noticed you at all. How did you manage to do that?" Though the situation at Hemming Mountain is a bit rudimentary now, there is a second-rank great formation for protection, yet his father could enter the spirit land silently and imperceptibly, which was truly astounding. Isn't it normal for your father to have a few tricks up his sleeve? Knowing exactly what his daughter was scheming, Lu Changxing replied with a hearty smile. "As expected of Dad, you're amazing. Your daughter is too far off to catch up." Lu Wangshu nodded vigorously, full of admiration. Lu Changxing chuckled, saying nothing further. "But Dad, my brother and I are out there long term, and if we could have such a method, it would be much easier to conceal our whereabouts and provide more strategies in case of danger." She continued her statement, looking pitiful and lovely. "We'll talk about it later. Your father is also borrowing a certain treasure, which you can't use now," Lu Changsheng replied with a smile, shaking his head. Soon after, he and his children landed on a hilltop, inquiring about their well-being. During their time away, both had encountered ambushes, but they had escaped danger every time. Unless accosted by a false core cultivator, regular Foundation establishment cultivators were no match for the two. Lu Wangshu, even when desperate, could make a false core cultivator suffer defeat with third-rank talismans. Although Lu Wangshu wouldn't do such a thing. After all, for a genius, injuring oneself to defeat an enemy is clearly not worthwhile. Encountering a false core cultivator should mean fleeing quickly, and calling for reinforcement is the wisest choice. Wangshu, how many third-rank talismans do you have left? Hearing her words, Lu Changsheng immediately asked with concern. An ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator could manage at most one third-rank talisman at a time, unable to handle more. But his daughter Lu Wangshu, having the blood talisman spiritual body, cultivating the 99 mystical talisman scripture, can use 2 or even 3 at once. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1373. Not much. If you have more, Dad, you can give me some. If not, just keep it for yourself to protect yourself. Lu Wangshu said very considerately. When Lu Changsheng heard this, he immediately knew that his daughter had hardly used any talismans. However, he knew that his daughter had a hamster-like trait, loving to hoard everything, so he gave each of his son and daughter 10 talismans. Don't start eyeing the talismans in Xianxia's hands again. After giving them, Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter and said, Dad, am I that kind of person? Lu Wangshu was a bit unconvinced. Ling Xiao, if you're almost done with your work, come home for a visit. Your master has awakened and will forge a magical treasure for you then. Lu Changsheng ignored his daughter and said to his son, Lu Lingxiao. Although this son grew up surrounded by heavenly and earthly treasures, he had yet to obtain anything truly rare. So a few days ago, he chatted with Hong Lian about this son situation, and Hong Lian, after seeing the family's golden fire vine tree and fire mulberry tree, mentioned that the Vermilion Bird Palace had a tradition of nurturing fire through spiritual wood. This golden fire vine tree was very suitable for Lu Lingxiao's spiritual body and cultivation technique. It could be refined into a magical treasure embryo for Lu Lingxiao to use. Not only is its power formidable, but keeping it nearby can nourish the physical body and mana at all times, enhancing cultivation. Although third-rank spirit plants are rare, for the current Lu Changsheng, it's manageable. If he truly wants a third-rank heavenly and earthly spirit plant, he can look for one in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. So upon hearing this, he directly handed the golden fire vine tree to Hong Lian, asking her to later refine it into a magical treasure embryo for his son Lu Lingxiao. Master has awakened? Lu Lingxiao was somewhat surprised to hear this. Earlier, his mother had told him that his master was reconstructing his physical body and was in a semi-sleeping state most of the time. All right, Dad, we'll visit home once I'm done. He glanced at Lu Wangshu beside him, nodded, and said, Dad, what about me? What about me? Lu Wangshu immediately widened her eyes and looked at her father. I have some matters to attend to, but I'll prepare a surprise for you when I return, okay? Lu Changsheng rubbed his daughter's head and said dotingly, You're going out again, Dad. You just got back, didn't you? Lu Wangshu pouted slightly. There's always something to keep busy with. Lu Changsheng smiled and said, After staying for a few days at Hemming Mountain, Lu Changsheng finally embarked on his journey to Jin Kingdom. 9th Heavenly Gang Wind Layer. Buzz! Lu Changsheng's Qi Ocean core trembled, and the formless treasure wheel appeared in his hand, slowly revolving. Suddenly, Nangong Meili, with her exquisite allure and graceful figure, appeared. Lu Changsheng, you dog of a man, what do you want now? As soon as Nangong Meili appeared, she glared angrily at Lu Changsheng, reprimanding him coldly. Having been suppressed in the formless domain for a long time, her emotions had become quite volatile. But after her outburst, she immediately noticed something was amiss about her current location, as if she was in the ninth heavenly gang wind layer. She frowned slightly and said, "Lu Changsheng, where are you taking me? You're so disrespectful. Call me husband." Lu Changsheng glanced at her and tapped on the round millstone, saying with a smile, "Lu Changsheng, how dare you humiliate me like this? I'm going to fight you." Nangong Meili's face turned red with anger and shame as she immediately flared up. "Nangong Meili, are you looking for trouble? I'm set on going to Jin Kingdom. I don't have time to play games with you." Lu Changsheng's strong and powerful arms wrapped around her, preventing her from moving. "Jin Kingdom? Why are you going to Jin Kingdom?" Nangong Meili's beautiful and seductive face was full of indignation and shame. But hearing that Lu Changsheng was heading to Jin Kingdom, she paused in surprise, a mix of doubt and astonishment. "I'm going to see my daughter," Lu Changsheng replied. "You're going to see Yao Yao?" Saw the Nellfire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Upon hearing this, Nangong Meili's expression turned wary as she said, "Lu Changsheng, I warn you, Yao Yao is my daughter. If you dare make a move on her, I'll fight you." As if feeling her words lacked intimidation, her voice turned a few degrees colder as she continued. "When Nangong Meili says something, she means it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1374. Nangong Meili, do you have a problem? Lu Changsheng looked at the woman with a cold expression again, feeling a bit speechless. Why does she always act as if I'm going to harm her daughter? Nangong Meili's face was cold, her phoenix eyes filled with hostility. She knew well that Lu Changsheng wouldn't harm her daughter. But after more than half a year together, she understood that Lu Changsheng seemed gentle on the surface, yet was domineering at heart. Moreover, he was highly chauvinistic and prejudiced against the demon path. The trip to the Jin Kingdom was certainly not just about visiting their daughter. He was undoubtedly planning to take their daughter, Nangong Yao Yao, back to Bai Lake Mountain. How could she be willing to accept that? Damn it! Seeing Nangong Meili's demeanor, a surge of anger welled up in Lu Changsheng's heart. Lu Changsheng. Nangong Meili saw Lu Changsheng's actions, her alluring face as beautiful as the blossoming flowers of February, instantly filled with shame, anger, and humiliation. This despicable man was simply unreasonable and brutish, attacking her without warning. Yet, for some reason, Nangong Meili didn't feel much aversion now. Jin Kingdom. Recently, a piece of news regarding the Yiming Ghost sect and the Ghost Demon True Master caused quite a stir. It began 10 years ago when a loose cultivator named Chu Changtian killed the Ghost Demon True Master's son and was placed on a wanted list by the Ghost Demon True Master. Initially, only a few paid attention to this matter. But a few months ago, another piece of news about Chu Changtian spread. Tung Li, the Ghost Demon True Master's first disciple, led more than 10 Foundation establishment cultivators to hunt him down, only to suffer a major defeat. Tung Li, with a cultivation level of a 9th level of Foundation establishment, even died at Chu Changshan's hands. The dissemination of this news caused an uproar, drawing countless attention. Everyone wanted to know who this Chu Changtian was, possessing such strength at the middle stage of Foundation establishment. Faced with this situation, the Ghost Demon True Master was furious. He immediately announced that anyone who could provide information about Chu Changtian would receive a core formation spiritual object, and whoever could capture Chu Changtian would be rewarded with a Blood Ghost Condensing Evil Pill. The Blood Ghost Condensing Evil Pill is a unique elixir medicine of the Yiming Ghost sect, extremely rare. Consuming it helps Foundation establishment cultivators unleash their potential and hit core formation. Although the core formation process consumes life potential and, at most, forms a low-quality pill, it raises the core formation probability by 50%. So, for a time, numerous family forces and Foundation establishment late-stage cultivators pursued Chu Changshan's tracks, not only to capture him for the Blood Ghost Condensing Evil Pill, but also to seize the opportunities and inheritances he possessed. After all, a loose cultivator with no affiliation, yet harboring such opportunities and inheritances, was an irresistible temptation for any force. Not far from the heavenly spider market, several dozen miles away. Search the novel F. Ire at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. An 18 or 19-year-old girl, delicate in appearance, like a dream, wearing a purple outfit, was hunting down a man cloaked in a black cloak. Buzz, the purple-clothed girl's jade hand was fair and slender, lightly striking forward. It was like a butterfly spreading its wings, or a spirit snake flicking its tongue, filled with endless killing intent amidst the beauty and dreaminess. At the same time, on top of her head, a purple jade heavenly spider perched, causing multicolored threads to appear from all sides, binding the man in the black robe. Boom! The young man in the black robe, his hair in disarray, the slightly damaged black cloak swirling around him with multicolored small fish, suddenly shot out, seemingly about to devour the sky and break the threads. The two forces clashed, and he clearly wasn't a match for the purple-clothed girl. At this moment, a straight beam of golden light appeared, suddenly tearing open a corner of the web. The youth instantly shot out like a pung bird, continuing to escape. For someone capable of slaying Tung Li, he indeed has some skills. But by the looks of it, he should still have some hidden moves. The purple-clothed girl paused upon witnessing this, and chose to stop her pursuit. As she turned to head back to the market, a masked girl in a purple veil, dazzlingly beautiful, approached with concern and asked the purple-clothed girl, Sister Xiaochuan, "How did it go?" "Yao Yao, this Chu Chang Tian is indeed exceptional. If I'm not mistaken, he not only consumed numerous heavenly and earthly treasures, but also cultivated some kind of toxic body refining techniques, making him immune to all poisons. If you encounter him in the future, make sure never to engage him." Meng Xiaochuan softly stroked the black silky hair of the teenage girl, speaking gently. During the earlier confrontation, she tried to erode the opponent with poison techniques, thinking the toxins would infiltrate him, making him unable to escape. Yet after so long, the opponent barely got poisoned, indicating his extraordinary constitution, immune to all poisons. Also, taking into account that the opponent could kill Tung Li, there might be more to his abilities, so she didn't continue the chase. "Sister Xiaochuan, I understand." Nangong Yaoyao nodded seriously. Earlier in the marketplace, she engaged in a brief skirmish with him. If it weren't for the body-protecting talisman her mother gave her, she would have nearly been severely injured by the six-winged golden silkworm. His cultivation technique inheritance is anything but ordinary, and taming such a unique exotic creature like the six-winged golden silkworm certainly makes him extraordinary, possibly the disciple of some ancient monster. Meng Xiaochuan added, this kind of situation wasn't uncommon. Many ancient monsters enjoyed sending their disciples out for experience, rising through piles of corpses. They might even train multiple disciples, having them kill each other. "Sister Xiaochuan, is there still no news from Mother?" After a while, Nangong Yaoyao suddenly raised her head gently, speaking with some sadness. Meng Xiaochuan paused momentarily, holding the young girl in the purple dress, gently saying, "Master might have gotten slightly injured in the Tianyuan secret realm, needing to recover, so she got delayed. Master's soul lamp shows no signs of anomalies, which means everything is fine. Yao Yao, you don't have to worry." She knew that her counterpart had been feeling down these days because of her master's matter. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1375. Otherwise, upon seeing the appearance of the six-winged golden silkworm this time, they wouldn't easily give up and would think of continuing to pursue victory. 2 months later, Lu Changsheng descended from the 9th heavenly gang wind layer with Nangong Meili. In sight was a vast desert. Ahead was the border of Jiang country and Jin kingdom. One could see that there was almost no spiritual mechanism ahead, and the earth's veins were in chaos. Looking further into the distance, There was a layer of hazy dust storms sweeping through, affecting the flying speed and divine sense of cultivators. Lu Changsheng found a place to settle down, planning to restore his mana state before crossing the border. Although it was almost impossible for him to encounter danger given his combat situation, it was still good to be cautious. Whoosh! Just as he released the spiritual ice spring and sat cross-legged in meditation, a sudden surge of spiritual root turbulence welled up in his heart. Immediately, his entire body was enveloped by an indescribable and profound feeling. Spiritual root. His spiritual root had advanced. Finally, it had advanced from a first-grade spiritual root to an earth spirit root. This child should be a second-grade spiritual root. Lu Changsheng felt joyful, quietly savoring this mystical tremor. The child he was expecting would most likely have a spiritual root, but the majority of spiritual roots were of middle grade. For this reason, his spiritual root had always been at the brink of first grade, unable to break through to earth spirit root. Now, with the birth of this child, his spiritual root had finally achieved a qualitative change through sheer numbers. It shouldn't be the child in Linger's womb. It must be the one in Rinjur's. There weren't many pregnant concubines at home, and Lu Changsheng could deduce which concubine had given birth based on the general pregnancy timeline. This Rinjur was one of the 5 maids he took when he advanced to a 3rd-rank talisman master, possessing a 5th-grade spiritual root. Unexpectedly, her first birth gave him a superior-grade spiritual root. However, after advancing to earth spirit root, Lu Changsheng didn't show much excitement. After all, given his current cultivation level, the spiritual root offered limited improvement. Besides slightly aiding in breaking through bottlenecks, its main effect was genetic enhancement. Lu Changsheng didn't continue pondering, holding 2 superior-grade spirit stones, and began to recover through the nearby spiritual ice spring. He also casually checked if there were any unexpected surprises with the earth spirit root. However, since his original spiritual root was already on the brink, the upgrading to earth spirit root significantly improved the efficiency of absorbing and refining spiritual energy, but it wasn't a qualitative leap. At this moment, Nangong Meili, standing next to him, suddenly transformed into a radiant beam and shot into the distance. This woman. Lu Changsheng opened his eyes and sighed helplessly. Then, like a shooting star across the sky, he burst out, tearing through the air with a roar, stirring up layers of turbulence. Moments later, an overhead yin-yang Taoist chart enveloped in yin-yang qi grasp descended to suppress Nangong Meili. I already told you I'm just going to see Yao Yao. Why do you have to react like this? Lu Changsheng said somewhat helplessly. Ever since she found out he was heading to Jin Kingdom to visit their daughter, this woman had been on high alert. She's probably trying to beat him back to keep their daughter hidden from him. Lu Changsheng was rather troubled by this situation. Although he could continue to suppress her, she was still the mother of his child after all. He couldn't just suppress her and then go see his daughter, could he? Doing so would make him look like a pure villain in his daughter's eyes. With Nangong Meili guiding her, his image in this daughter's heart was likely already not too good, considered as abandoning wife and child. Doing this would make it worse to witness. Nangong Meili just kept a cold face, not believing Lu Changsheng at all. Meili, do you want it again? And you're intentionally provoking me like this? Lu Changsheng raised an eyebrow and said so. Lu Changsheng, you bastard, shameless. The originally cold-faced Nangong Meili couldn't hold it any longer. Her beautiful phoenix eyes widened, and she cursed furiously. This dog of a man forced her all the time and even slandered it as her desire. We're an old couple now. What's there to be shy about? Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly, wrapping his arms around her breathtakingly graceful body. One had to say, Nangong Meili was a natural beauty. No matter how long he experienced it, she still gave him an unmatched, wondrous feeling. Several days later, after imparting all the yin-yang energies, Nangong Meili had stabilized significantly, and the two of them rowed a spirit boat into the border. Previously, Lu Changsheng had asked Nangong Meili about the general situation and caution points of crossing the border. He knew the border had minor natural disasters, robber cultivators, heretic cultivators, and wanted criminals with no other dangers. However, for demonic path cultivators, there was an additional layer of danger from patrolling heavenly sword sect cultivators. Demonic path or heretic cultivators trying to cross the border into Jiang country had to be extremely cautious. Otherwise, if noticed by patrolling cultivators from heavenly sword sect, their lives would be in danger. Speaking of this, Nangong Mealy was still angrily scolding, not knowing which dog-like fool dared to kill White Peak Immortal in the past. That led to the Heavenly Sword sect dispatching several nascent soul immortals to patrol the border. And if it weren't for her good luck and having the Misty Sky bead, she would have nearly perished. Lu Changsheng certainly wasn't going to show off that he was the one who did it, and only discreetly showed his concern for her. By Lake Mountain, Xuanfu Peak, Lu Yin regularly came to the peak to refine the Dragon Blood Tree. After nearly 2 years of thorough refinement, he had established a deep bond with the Dragon Blood Tree. Sir, the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Only one step away, he could refine it into his life-bound spiritual route. For this reason, he dedicated all his time to this endeavor every day, whenever possible, refining the Dragon Blood Tree. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1376. Refine. Lu Yun refined the Dragon Blood Tree, suddenly feeling his spiritual power and the chi mechanism of the Dragon Blood Tree becoming chaotic and uncontrollable. His spiritual power poured out abruptly, surging towards the Dragon Blood Tree. Instantaneously, his face lit up with joy. He knew this was the final step of refining the heavenly longevity technique. He promptly took out a sensing talisman to send a message to his mother. Moments later, Lu Miaoyan arrived, saw the situation, and called Chu Jinjin, who poured a drop of Myriad Spirits heaven-reaching liquid from the Myriad Spirits bottle onto the Dragon Blood Tree. This was previously instructed by Lu Changsheng to reserve a drop of Myriad Spirits heaven-reaching liquid for Lu Yun to break through to Foundation establishment. Otherwise, even if he was at the peak of the Qi refining stage and refined the heavenly longevity technique, it would still take a long time to break through to Foundation establishment. Boom! Receiving this drop of Myriad Spirits heaven-reaching liquid, the already exuberant Qi mechanism of the Dragon Blood Tree suddenly swayed vigorously, its Qi becoming even more turbulent, like a volcanic eruption flowing to Lu Yun, causing the surrounding nature's spiritual energy to rush into his body. Just like this, time passed bit by bit. 10 days later, Lu Yun's Qi mechanism shook tremendously, and his cultivation level broke through from the peak of the Qi refining stage to Foundation establishment. Foundation establishment. I finally broke through to Foundation establishment. Lu Yun looked at his significantly stronger hands, feeling an unprecedented power surging through his body. He was so overjoyed that he couldn't help but shout loudly. 2.5 years ago, he and his siblings, 5 people together, attempted Foundation establishment, but he failed. This matter dealt quite a blow to him. Choosing to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique at that time also had a few reasons related to this, as he held a bit of inexplicable fear and dread towards Foundation establishment. And now, he finally broke through to Foundation establishment, although it was through the heavenly longevity technique to break through. At this moment, he even felt like saying, 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, don't belittle the elderly poor. But now I've broken through to Foundation establishment. Am considered middle-aged. Lu Yun thought this way. He hadn't taken any elixir medicines for rejuvenation before, so he looked like he was around 50 years old. Now that he broke through to Foundation establishment, he was full of vitality, looking only about 30 years old. Yuner, congratulations on breaking through to Foundation establishment. Take these days to stabilize your state, and then your family will host a small celebration ceremony for you. Lu Miaoyun said with a smile beside him. Yes, mother. Despite his age, Lu Yun remained very respectful towards his mother Lu Miaoyan. At the border of Jiang country, Lu Changsheng and Nangong Meili were riding on a spirit boat, crossing the border. Having been accustomed to traveling at full speed, even at the speed of this quasi-third-rank spirit boat, Lu Changsheng seemed uninterested, considering whether to continue traveling at full speed. After all, with the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus as the second Dantian, he could sustain the mana consumption. Just then, a system prompt sounded. Congratulations to the host. 15 offspring have broken through to the Foundation establishment stage, gaining bloodline effect. Spiritual body inheritance rate increases by 1%, and an advanced lottery opportunity. 15 of them. Is this Yuner has refined the heavenly longevity technique and broken through to the Foundation establishment. Lu Changsheng heard this system prompt, and his eyebrows slightly lifted. 3 months ago, his daughter Lu Xingyue successfully broke through to Foundation establishment using the second Foundation establishment pill. Now, among the children at home eligible for Foundation establishment, Lu Yun was the first he thought of. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changsheng opened the system interface and took a glance. It was indeed his son Lu Yun breaking through to Foundation establishment. System draw lottery. He wasn't overly concerned, silently recited in his mind, and looked at what good things this advanced lottery could bring. Immediately, the advanced level drawing wheel appeared, starting to spin. After several breaths, the golden light gradually slowed down, stopping at the spiritual pet treasure section. Ding! Congratulations to the host for acquiring a spiritual pet. Golden-winged heavenly pung. Reward has been delivered to the system space. Host can check at any time. A pung bird, entirely golden-colored, exuding golden brilliance, with a majestic and handsome figure, emerged from the lottery wheel, accompanied by a system prompt. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1377, Golden-Winged Heavenly Pung. Lu Changsheng raised an eyebrow slightly. In his early years, he had learned some information about true spirits from Honglian and had heard of the Heavenly Pung clan. It was rumored that this race was related to the legendary Phoenix and the Golden-Winged Rock. Unexpectedly, he had now drawn such a true spirit pet beast. His mental spirit stirred slightly as he looked into the system space. Spiritual pet, golden-winged heavenly pung. Grade, middle rank true spirit. Description: the heavenly pung clan is blessed by the heavens, possessing a formidable physical body, able to contend with flood dragons, and has the fastest speed in the world. Currently in its growth stage, possessing third rank strength, middle rank true spirit, third rank strength. Seeing this introduction, Lu Changsheng felt a burst of joy inside. Currently, the grade of a spiritual pet was secondary to him. What mattered was whether its combat power could be utilized. If he drew a completely powerless cub, even a high-rank true spirit or even a top-level true spirit would be meaningless to him. After all, the heavenly grade bloodline pet beasts he drew in the past truly numbed him to raising them. At this moment, Nangong Meili beside him noticed Lu Changsheng suddenly spacing out as if he was pondering something, and her beautiful phoenix eyes gleamed dreamily before turning into a streak of light that shot out swiftly. These days, she had been constantly worried that Lu Changsheng might take her daughter away and was extremely uneasy, so she thought she would return quickly and prepare her daughter with a warning. This woman. Seeing this scene, Lu Changsheng felt a bit helpless, intending to suppress her. But then he thought that continuously suppressing her to meet her daughter wasn't a proper way to handle things either. Since that's the case, at this moment, a thought flashed through Lu Changsheng's mind. Then he transmitted his voice to Nangong Meili. Meili, if you don't wish to go with me, you can return first. It'll come to the Five Poisons cult to find you later. If you change your mind, I will meet with Yao Yao then. After speaking, he let Nangong Meili go off into the distance. Why did this scoundrel man change his demeanor? Nangong Meili was stunned upon hearing this, a bit bewildered, seeing Lu Changsheng no longer suppressing her. Inexplicably, a sense of forlorn appeared in her heart. However, after hesitating for a moment, she decided to not dwell on it further and rode on a purple jade handkerchief, flying towards the Jin Kingdom's Five Poisons cult. Lu Changsheng certainly did not actually plan to wait for Nangong Meili to change her mind before visiting the Five Poisons cult. Who knew what bad things she might say about him to their daughter when she returned? His plan was simple, as long as he arrived at the Five Poisons cult before Nangong Meili did. As for how to find their daughter, he already had a plan. Back in the day, he and Meng Xiaochan had sensing talismans. He would directly find Meng Xiaochan upon reaching the Five Poisons cult's territory. Furthermore, he had Nangong Meili's blood. He could use the blood-tracking talisman to directly find their daughter then. Just the opportunity to test the speed of this golden-winged heavenly Peng. Lu Changsheng believed with his mana state, he could definitely arrive at the Five Poisons cult before Nangong Meili. And having just obtained a golden-winged heavenly Peng, said to have the fastest speed in the world, would make losing her trail even simpler. Extract. In an instant, a golden beam soared into the sky, accompanied by an overwhelming and terrifying aura. Before him appeared a golden-winged heavenly Peng, measuring dozens of feet, entirely resplendent as if forged from gold, radiating a dazzling brilliance, majestic and awe-inspiring. Its eyes, with vertical pupils, were cold and sharp, resembling two golden suns, exuding an aura of unrivaled dominance. Its gleaming wings spread like clouds reaching the skies, exuding an unparalleled cutting aura that seemed to divide the heavens and earth, striking across the nine skies. Golden-winged heavenly Peng. What an impressive golden-winged heavenly Peng. Lu Changsheng was ecstatic at the sight of the golden-winged heavenly Peng before him. This golden-winged heavenly Peng was exceptionally extraordinary. It was more majestic and domineering than any demon king he had seen in the Myriad Beast mountain range. Since the early days with the Iron Feather Eagle, he had been wanting to get a mount to ride. But, unfortunately, the system was not cooperative, and he had no interest in ordinary second-rank spiritual beast mounts. Now seeing this golden-winged heavenly Peng, he knew this was the mount meant for him, the one he had been waiting for. Not to mention, riding this golden-winged heavenly Peng would massively boost his prestige. Moreover, there's an unexpected surprise. This golden-winged heavenly Peng's strength was not just at the third rank. It actually had late-stage, third-rank strength. A demon king with heavenly grade bloodline. Its power can match a superior grade gold core cultivator. This golden-winged heavenly Peng is a middle-rank true spirit. Even though it has just entered late-stage third rank, its strength is absolutely unrivaled at the same rank. That means below the nascent soul, I can walk unhindered. Lu Changsheng's face was filled with joy. In earlier years, he had considered rearing the Nine Netherhound until it became a demon king and then have it take him flying. That wish ultimately was not realized. Now that he obtained such a golden-winged heavenly Peng, it could be considered as half fulfilled. He could experience the power of being backed by a formidable pet. Golden-winged heavenly Peng, from now on, we'll call you Golden Peng, Lu Changsheng said, looking at the fierce and imposing golden-winged heavenly Peng before him. Yes, master. The golden-winged heavenly Peng, as a third-rank demon king, could already speak. However, its voice was incomparably cold, like a golden bell ringing with a hum, resounding and piercing, filled with a murderous aura. This was not because it had any objection to Lu Changsheng. Rather, the golden-winged heavenly Peng, as a divine bird, inherently possessed a fierce nature, wild and difficult to tame. Search the novel F. Ire. Inti website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If not for the system recognizing the master, even a nascent soul true lord would find it difficult to subdue it, requiring an unknown amount of effort. Golden Peng, can you make yourself a bit smaller? Lu Changsheng said, looking at the golden-winged heavenly Peng before him. Its body was simply too large, measuring dozens of feet. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1378. It's not necessary for my transportation needs, so I want to see if it can be made smaller. Otherwise, this size won't fit in the spiritual pet bag. Buzz. Golden-winged heavenly Peng's wings covered the sky. Its body flowed with golden runes, the curve sharp and fierce, then shrank visibly. Lu Changsheng watched, curious about how small this golden-winged heavenly Peng could become. In the end, this golden-winged heavenly Peng was only a few feet in size, perched on his shoulder. Not bad. Lu Changsheng contentedly stroked the bird's feathers. The feathers of this golden-winged heavenly Peng were unlike most demon beasts. They weren't smooth. Each feather was like a peerless sword, possessing a sharp, fierce edge. If not for his third-rank body refinement, he wouldn't dare to touch them lightly. Indeed, these third-rank demon kings were such that every part of their bodies equaled the magical treasures of cultivators, filled with danger. Let's go, Golden Peng. Show me your speed. Lu Changsheng didn't indulge much with the golden bird, indicating it should serve as his ride. Immediately, the body of the golden-winged heavenly Peng was adorned with golden runes, expanding to several meters in size, and when Lu Changsheng landed on its back, the dazzling golden wings spread, transforming into a golden rainbow shooting out, kicking up a sharp gangwind layer. Good. Lu Changsheng's luxurious dark robe fluttered violently in the fierce winds, his face lit with joy. Fast, so fast. The golden-winged heavenly Peng truly deserved to be the fastest in the world. Even if he was driving a starlight plate, flying shield at full strength, his speed was far inferior to that of the golden-winged heavenly Peng. Unless his 9 treasures Rui Bone was at full speed, barely could he compete. But the problem was his 9 treasures Rui Bone couldn't be used for extended periods, whereas this was the golden-winged heavenly Peng's normal speed. I wonder how this speed compares to a nascent soul, true lord. Lu Changsheng pondered to himself. He was almost certain that few nascent soul immortals or third-rank demon kings could match the speed of the golden-winged heavenly Peng. Maybe such beings existed, but they certainly wouldn't appear in places like Jiang Country or Jin Kingdom. Although nascent soul, true lords already involve spatial laws, it cannot be evaluated by speed alone. Lu Changsheng shook his head, lacking the intention of challenging the nascent soul true lords because of the golden-winged heavenly Peng. After all, he's never involved himself in such provocations. Has this damn man really changed his nature? Nangong merely sat on a purple jade handkerchief, still confused as to why Lu Changsheng let her go. Though she wanted to shake off Lu Changsheng, she hoped he would chase her. This damn man truly thinks I can't leave him and would let myself be manipulated? She pondered for a moment, judging Lu Changsheng's actions as a seemingly aloof tactic, though she indeed felt somewhat anxious and unsure right now. But how could Nangong merely yield so easily? Not good. Suddenly, she felt an alarming presence rushing toward her. Her expression changed drastically, concealing her magical aura and descending. Next, she saw a golden Peng bird soaring in the sky, heading toward Jin Kingdom, stirring winds strong enough to throw false core cultivators. Whoosh! The Peng bird, like brilliant gold light darting across, tore through layers of air, creating a golden river with an astonishing momentum. Who is this, daring to use such a demon king as a ride? Nangong merely stared at the golden-winged heavenly Peng on the heavenly dome, her enchanting face full of shock. Just now, the goo insects on her body buzzed a warning, indicating this fierce bird was extremely dangerous. One mistake could lead to mortal peril. Just now, that person looked a bit like that damn man. Nangong merely frowned slightly. She saw a silhouette on the back of the golden Peng bird, though it was just a fleeting glance, not clearly visible. But she recognized a glimpse of Lu Changsheng's shadow. Being able to ride such a demon king if not a nascent soul true lord, must be at least someone at core formation peak. I must have been thinking about this damn man these days, causing me to misidentify. Nangong merely shook her head quickly, dismissing the thought. After all, no matter how capable Lu Changsheng was, he couldn't own such an astonishing spiritual beast as a mount. If he truly had such a divine bird for transportation, why not use it earlier instead of struggling to fly around? But heading toward Jin Kingdom, could something have happened there, attracting such a being? Nangong Meili's beautiful eyes narrowed, sparkling, pondering. She didn't dwell on it further, continuing to ride her own jade handkerchief, heading toward Jin Kingdom. The immediate priority was to hurry back and take her daughter from the marketplace to the cult, preparing her. Indeed, she had never considered Lu Changsheng would compete for her daughter, thus neglecting to educate her. Even when her muddled daughter asked about her father, she insisted he had died early. Lu Changsheng stood atop the golden-winged heavenly Peng, experiencing a speed and thrill akin to racing, his heart brimming with unparalleled excitement. However, there are pros and cons for the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Riding this golden-winged heavenly Peng meant there were no clueless robber cultivators around to earn extra cash. A moment later, Lu Changsheng simply had the golden-winged heavenly Peng enter the 9th heavenly gang wind layer. Otherwise, his current situation felt somewhat ostentatious. Entering Jin Kingdom like this might invite unnecessary trouble. 1 month later. So this is the Five Poisons cult. Lu Changsheng gazed at the mysterious, eerie peak shrouded in purple-black clouds ahead. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1379. He took out a sensing talisman from the storage ring and activated it. Not here. Lu Changsheng's heart sank slightly. The situation he was most worried about on this trip was that Meng Xiaochan was not at the Five Poisons cult and had gone out on a mission. If his daughter Nangong Yaoyao was at the Five Poisons cult without Meng Xiaochan leading the way, it would be quite troublesome to see his daughter. After all, such a nascent soul-level power as the Five Poisons cult, he couldn't possibly sneak in. This is also why he brought Nangong Meili along with him before. Hopefully Yao Yao is also not at the Five Poisons cult. A blood-tracking talisman appeared in Lu Changsheng's hand. He then smeared his and Nangong Meili's blood onto it. A moment later, the blood-tracking talisman burned and transformed into a small blood-colored snake, slowly guiding them in another direction. Looks like my luck is good. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng showed a hint of smile and then followed the guidance and left. Several days later, Immortal Spider Marketplace. Lu Changsheng looked at the name of the marketplace ahead and stopped his steps. From this name, he roughly guessed that this marketplace belonged to the industry under Nangong Meili's name, arranging for his daughter to undergo training here. Immediately, he paid 10 spirit stones and entered the marketplace. Upon arriving at the marketplace, he did not go directly to find his daughter, Nangong Yaoyao. On one hand, seeing her soon, he didn't know in what manner he should meet this daughter. On the other hand, he was also somewhat preparing, wanting to understand a bit about his daughter's situation. Lu Changsheng visited a shop that sold intelligence information, inquiring whether there was any information related to Nangong Yaoyao. Nangong Yaoyao. Upon hearing this, the shopkeeper's eyes and pupils shrank, showing a hint of fear. Then, without showing any emotion, he asked Lu Changsheng to wait for a moment. With divine sense comparable to core formation peak, Lu Changsheng keenly sensed the shopkeeper entering a room and crushing a transmission talisman. Haha. He held the tea, shaking his head with a light laugh. He suspected this was standard procedure where purchasing information related to Nangong Yaoyao would notify the cultivators of the marketplace. This scenario is considered conventional practice in the marketplace. Just like buying intelligence information of forces like by Lake Mountain, Qingzhou Mountain, Hunterbird's Lake at Redley Valley Market would be recorded. Lu Changsheng didn't mind. continuing to drink tea as he waited peacefully. After a short while, the shopkeeper brought a jade slip containing information about Nangong Yao Yao. "Is this my daughter?" Lu Chongsheng looked at the jade slip, seeing Nangong Yao Yao's face partially covered by gauze, but still not hiding her breathtaking beauty. He smiled and then began to read through the intelligence inside. This intelligence had clearly been processed. It only contained simple details about Nangong Yao Yao, without much detailed information. Even her cultivation realm was recorded incorrectly. But Xiaochan is also in this marketplace. Lu Chongsheng gained a useful piece of information from it. Earlier, he was wondering whether Meng Xiaochan was here as well. Now seeing the records in the jade slip of Nangong Yao Yao and Meng Xiaochan stationed together, he immediately tossed out a middle-grade spirit stone, left the shop, and sat down in a restaurant, activating Meng Xiaocan's sensing talisman. Since Meng Xiaochan was here, it would be much easier for him to see his daughter. He could also learn about his daughter's situation and how her life had been all these years through her. In a splendid palace at the Immortal Spider Marketplace, an absolutely beautiful woman of 18 or 19, dressed in a purple skirt, sat cross-legged, with a 5-colored spider coiled beside her. In the 4 corners of the hall, there were respectively coiled a spirit snake, jade toad, centipede, poison scorpion, all emitting threads of venom from their mouths. At this moment, the woman opened her beautiful eyes, her pupils glistening with a purple sheen, adding an ethereal, dreamlike beauty to her delicate face. A brocade box appeared in her hand, and she carefully opened it. Inside were several talismans. These were the talismans gifted to her early on by Lu Chongsheng. Except for some she used at that time, the remaining talismans were carefully preserved once she returned to Jin Kingdom. This is Lu Lang's sensing talisman. Lu Lang is at the Immortal Spider Marketplace. Meng Xiaochan saw the sensing talisman flashing red and immediately showed a face full of surprise, astonishment, excitement, joy, looking outside. She seemed to see a youth of elegant appearance and handsomely poised stature smiling at her. Why would Lu Lang come to the Immortal Spider Marketplace? Could it be that Master has brought Lu Lang? However, at the next moment, her heart skipped a beat, suspecting that Master had captured Lu Chongsheng while visiting Jiang Country. Otherwise, why would Lu Chongsheng appear at the Immortal Spider Marketplace out of nowhere? Biting her lip lightly, without thinking much, she hurriedly adjusted her attire, checked her appearance in the mirror, then quickly exited the hall, heading towards the location of the sensing talisman. Salute to the Honorable Marketplace Lord. Salute to Senior Sister Meng. Salute to Uncle Master. On the way, cultivators who saw Meng Xiaochan promptly greeted her with respect. Compared to the righteous path, the demon path was even stricter in hierarchy. Low-rank cultivators meeting high-rank cultivators, and even among sect members, etiquette was greatly emphasized. Moreover, after all these years, Meng Xiaochan, as a disciple of Nangong Meili, the heavenly spider envoy of the 5 Poisons cult, had a fearsome reputation. At this moment, Meng Xiaochan had no time to pay attention to these people, only quickly heading to the location of the sensing talisman. As she got closer, her heart beat faster and faster, feeling tense, excited, and agitated. Moments later, following the sensing talisman, she arrived at a restaurant, seeing a handsome middle-aged man in a dark brocade robe. Though he didn't look like Lu Chongsheng, the mysterious bond formed by the Lockhart made her clearly aware that this was Lu Chongsheng. Xiaochan. Seeing this woman whose features and aura had changed quite a bit since before, Lu Chongsheng stood up and called out to her softly. Lu Lang. Upon hearing the gentle call, Meng Xiaochan could no longer suppress the longing in her heart. Years of yearning and affection surged like a tide. She directly burst into tears of joy and embraced Lu Chongsheng. This. Nearby cultivators who knew Meng Xiaochan watched this scene as if seeing a ghost, gasping in shock, wishing to know who Lu Chongsheng was. To make Meng Xiaochan show such an expression. After all, they all knew that this marketplace lord, not only stunningly beautiful, but also the disciple of Nangong Meili, the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, had a fearsome reputation. Yet now, she was calling a man Lu Lang, and her voice was filled with unspeakable longing and tender affection. However, seeing the embrace of the two, these people dared not make any noise, even signaling others to remain silent, so as not to provoke Meng Xiaochan. Xiaochan, long time no see. Lu Changsheng hugged Meng Xiaochan, feeling her longing for him, his heart filled with some guilt. He had actually little feeling for Meng Xiaochan, yet she had been deeply affected by the Lockhart Gu, loving him to her core, constantly thinking of him. Although it was self-inflicted with the Lockhart Gu back then. But so many years had passed, Lu Changsheng had long let go of this matter. You could say a man would have a soft spot for a woman who has constantly been fond of him. And Lu Ancestor, although fond of beauty, disdained using methods such as the Lockhart Gu. Lu Lang, why have you come to the Immortal Spider Marketplace? After a moment, Meng Xiaochan woke from her joy, her cheeks flushed red, like a girl in love, gently asked Lu Changsheng. Let's find a place to continue our talk. Lu Changsheng said, looking at the many people nearby. MHM. Meng Xiaochan hurriedly nodded in agreement, her beautiful eyes unwilling to let Lu Changsheng out of her sight, leading him away. Search * the Nellfire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1380. Meng Xiaochan led Lu Changsheng to a side hall at Immortal Spider Peak. Xiaochan, how have you been all these years? After sitting down, Lu Changsheng asked with concern. Previously, he had inquired Nangong Meili about Meng Xiaochan and her daughter Nangong Yaoyao. But the other party simply brushed it off, unwilling to say much. Besides, even though he knew Meng Xiaochan was doing well, he still felt he should show concern now that they met. Master treats me very well. Meng Xiaochan gracefully poured tea for Lu Changsheng, explaining her general situation. After returning that year, although her master knew about the Lockhart Gu matter, he didn't blame her and continued treating her like his own daughter. The only notable change was that she now had an additional junior sister whom she had to care for daily. When talking about this junior sister, Meng Xiaochan hesitated, wanting to tell Lu Changsheng that she was his daughter. But her master didn't want her disclosing this matter to anyone. Once Lu Changsheng knew about it, it might anger her master, even possibly leading him to have murderous intent towards Lu Changsheng. Moreover, Nangong Yaoyao had hinted at some matters regarding her father in her early years. If Lu Changsheng suddenly appeared, it could greatly impact Nangong Yaoyao's life. Junior sister. Lu Changsheng realized she was referring to Nangong Yaoyao. After a brief contemplation, he asked, Yaoyao, how is she? Meng Xiaochan was startled and said in surprise, Lu Lang, you know about Yaoyao? Yes. Lu Changsheng nodded, frankly saying, my visit to Jin Kingdom this time was partly to see you and also to meet Yaoyao. After hearing that Lu Changsheng came to see her, Meng Xiaochan felt a wave of joyful sweetness in her heart. Just as she was about to continue speaking, a clear and pleasant voice sounded from outside. Sister Xiaochan. A graceful young woman with a veiled face in purple silk floated in. She wore a finely crafted purple cloud brocade dress, her long black hair elegantly draped down like a waterfall, adding a fresh and unworldly charm to her beauty. Her exquisite, stunning features were partly hidden by the purple veil, revealing only eyes like stars, yet her peerless grace was untouched. The veil added an air of mysterious beauty, like the brightest stars in the night sky, making one want to uncover her true face. Buzz! Upon seeing this young woman, Lu Changsheng felt an uncanny blood connection surge within him. He felt a closeness between them, knowing she was his daughter, Nangong Yaoyao. Thinking of how he had never seen or cared for her since her birth, he was overwhelmed with guilt, remorse, and heartache. He slightly restrained his mana flow to conceal his aura, preventing Nangong Yao Yao from sensing their blood connection. Having not seen each other for decades, he didn't know how his daughter felt about this father she never met. Anticipation, rejection, or hatred. Search asterisk the novel, F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Thus, he planned to slowly interact with her before revealing the truth. Sister Xiaochan, is this your friend? Looking at Lu Changsheng, Nangong Yao Yao inspected him briefly and spoke. Her sudden arrival wasn't coincidental. She had heard reports that her sister Xiaochan embraced a man and affectionately called him Lu Lang, sparking her curiosity to see what was happening. Yet, for some reason, upon seeing this elegant and handsome middle-aged man who smiled at her, she felt a strange sense of familiarity. However, this vague familiarity didn't lead Nangong Yao Yao to instinctively approach him, instead making her wary of him. Why do I feel familiar with him? Is it some charm technique? The young woman was very aware of her nature. Except for her mother and sister Xiaochan, everyone else was an outsider. She could not naturally feel familiarity with a stranger on their first meeting. Through the cultivation technique and flawless heavenly fragrance Bodhi's spiritual sensing, she felt traces of charm emanating from Lu Changsheng. A grown man practicing charm arts. Although Nangong Yao Yao didn't mind men cultivating charm arts, the traces of charm his words and actions showed he wasn't a good person. It seemed her sister, Xiaochan, might be influenced by this man's charm technique. At this moment, Nangong Yao Yao labeled Lu Changsheng as a bad person. Lu Changsheng was unaware that he had left a poor impression on his daughter upon first meeting. The effects of the immortal beauty technique, peach blossom goo, and flawless heavenly fragrance body were seamlessly integrated into him. Unless he used the 9 treasures Rui Bone to completely seal himself and employed magical treasures for disguise and camouflage, he couldn't fully conceal his charm. Xiaochan. He transmitted a message to Meng Xiaochan, suggesting she chat with Nangong Yao Yao, but not reveal his identity. Yes, this is my friend, Yao Yao. You can call him Senior Lu. After a slight hesitation, Meng Xiaochan brought Nangong Yao Yao to sit beside her. Yao Yao greets Senior Lu. Despite having a poor initial impression, Nangong Yao Yao carried herself gracefully, with charming smiles that generated good feelings. Miss Yao Yao. Lu Changsheng nodded slightly, then found himself unsure of what to say. After all, they had never met and lived in entirely different environments, making it difficult to find a starting topic. Luckily, Meng Xiaochan was there. She spoke to briefly introduce Lu Changsheng, explaining he was her friend who had come to Immortal Spider Marketplace to see her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1381. So Senior Lu met Sister Xiaochan in Jiang Country. Is Senior Lu also a cultivator from Jiang Country? Nangong Yao Yao's beautiful eyes were clear, giving a lively and cute impression, making people instinctively relax and feel close when facing her. You could say that. Lu Changxing nodded with a smile, noticing the girl before him had a charming demeanor in her words and actions. What do you mean by you could say that? The girl's lips, delicate like flower petals, pouted slightly, her voice carrying a hint of playfulness. I used to be, but for us cultivators, the world is our home, so it's hard to say which country we belong to. Lu Changsheng saw the little girl was probing him and smiled calmly and naturally. Senior Lu, as someone who calls the world their home, you've surely been to many places. Where besides Jiang Country and Jin Kingdom have you been? Nangong Yao Yao seemed like a curious young girl fascinated by everything, her starry eyes shimmering with admiration and affection, making one dizzy and somewhat dazed. Even though Lu Changsheng knew this little girl had a seductive demeanor in her actions, her gaze still brought him a sense of great satisfaction. I've been to Jiang Country, Yu Country, Liang Country, and Yuan Country. Lu Changsheng began to speak nonsense with a serious demeanor. Anyway, he hadn't been to those places, and by the looks of it, Nangong Yaoyao certainly hadn't been either. With his knowledge and experience, fooling a little girl wasn't much of a problem. The three chatted and laughed. Most of the time, Nangong Yaoyao was asking questions, Lu Changxing was talking, and Meng Xiaochan added a few words. During the whole process, Nangong Yaoyao seemed full of curiosity, but was actually probing for information about Lu Changxing. Had Lu Changxing not been at core formation level, with a clear soul and some experience, he would have surely been led by his daughter. If it were peers of her age, wouldn't my daughter lead them around like dogs? Lu Changxing pondered secretly, momentarily unsure how to assess this daughter. Smart, quirky, adept at disguising, knowing how to utilize her advantages. But thinking how this daughter faced everyone with such charming smiles, Lu Changxing suddenly felt somewhat displeased. Senior Lu, Sister Xiaochan, there's something at the marketplace, so I'll head over first. Let's chat later. An hour later, Nangong Yaoyao stood up and spoke. She already noticed that Lu Changxing was elusive, with Sister Xiaochan covering for him, making it difficult to ask detailed questions. Better to pause here, investigate the general situation, gossip later about Meng Xiaochan and Lu Changxing, and remind Meng Xiaochan about him. Pleasant meeting. I have no gift. Hey, race a little token from Lu. Lu Changxing took out 3 talismans from his storage ring and gave them to Nangong Yaoyao. On this trip, he prepared a gift, heavenly fragrance goo, for his daughter. Only on this first meeting couldn't he give such a precious gift. Otherwise, anyone could see there was an issue. These are 3rd-rank talismans. Nangong Yaoyao looked at the talismans before her, somewhat surprised. Saw the novel, F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Though she had a mother who was at core formation, not lacking elixir medicines or talismans, adorned with top-level spiritual artifacts. Yet 3rd-rank talismans were still very precious to her. Lu happens to be a talisman master, usually making some talismans so little friend can keep them. Lu Changxing said with a gentle, handsome smile. Yaoyao thanks Senior Lu. Nangong Yaoyao had a hesitant look, then smiled warmly, taking them without refusal before leaving. Phew. Seeing Nangong Yaoyao leave, Lu Changxing suddenly let out a long breath. To be honest, just now facing this daughter, his mental spirit was somewhat tense. He pondered asking her views on her father, future plans, opinions on justice and evil paths, but feared making her wary, ultimately saying nothing. Lu Lang, Yaoyao likely came worrying about my situation. Meng Xiaochan also let out a breath, speaking to Lu Changxing. She too worried they might reveal themselves while chatting, then recognize each other. Not that she feared recognition. On one hand, uncertain of Nangong Yaoyao's attitude toward Lu Changxing. On the other, fearing her master would return, know they recognized each other, then harbor killing intent against Lu Changxing. Pretty good. Lu Changxing chuckled softly. Previously, he feared his daughter might be bullied in the 5-poison cult. Now it seems few could actually bully her. With Nangong merely around, ordinary high-rank cultivators wouldn't bully her. Xiaochan, tell me about Yaoyao. Lu Changxing gently pinched Meng Xiaocan's delicate hand, then took spiritual spring water from his storage ring, brewed a pot of spiritual tea, and spoke. He just wanted to ask about Nangong Yaoyao earlier, but she arrived, leading him to limited understanding of his daughter now. Yaoyao has been very obedient and smart since childhood, learns everything quickly. Meng Xiaochan nodded lightly, telling Lu Changxing about Nangong Yaoyao's character, temperament, likes, and childhood anecdotes. Meanwhile, Marketplace Management Center. Lu Wuming, 9th-level foundation establishment. Nangong Yaoyao looked at a name on the marketplace register, reflecting. Soon after, she used the Jade Scroll to check the Identity Jade token and trace the movements within the marketplace. Seeing Lu Changxing enter the marketplace and visit an intelligence shop, her starry eyes flickered slightly. Mere moments later, Nangong Yaoyao arrived at the intelligence shop, asking about the information Lu Changxing had purchased there. Purchase my information? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1382. Nangong Yao Yao heard this news and was immediately filled with suspicion and surprise. Unexpectedly, the first thing the other party did upon arriving at the marketplace was to purchase information about herself. Who exactly is he? Nangong Yao Yao thought of when she met the other person. There was an inexplicable sense of familiarity. The man always smiled gently and spoke patiently during their conversation, like a wise elder who was humble and broad-minded. She couldn't help pondering, but thinking of a relationship between the other person and her sister Xiaochuan, she shook her head. Lu Wuming. A moment later, Nangong Yao Yao murmured this name with her starry eyes twinkling. If before, she was curious because of Meng Xiaoquan's relationship with the other person, now she was curious about Lu Changsheng's identity, wanting to know what he came to the Immortal Spider Marketplace for. The next day, Lu Changsheng thought about how to find an opportunity to talk to Nangong Yao Yao. But after much consideration, he indeed couldn't think of a good reason, as it would be too abrupt. Then he and Meng Xiaochuan wandered around the Immortal Spider Marketplace to appreciate the local customs and culture. This time coming to the Jin Kingdom, he had been traveling non-stop and hadn't had the chance to experience the situation with the cultivators here. Walking down the street, besides most cultivators having an improper aura, with some full of evil qi, some with a sinister qi, and others reeking of blood, the rest were more or less the same as the cultivators of Jiang country. This is normal, as the Jin Kingdom is part of the demon path cultivation world, with most people practicing demonic techniques. But practicing demonic techniques doesn't mean these people are homicidal or have issues. During this time, Meng Xiaochuan also explained to Lu Changsheng some differences in ideologies between the two countries. The Jin Kingdom doesn't prohibit any cultivation techniques, with both demonic and orthodox techniques available. But relatively speaking, more people practice demonic techniques. On one hand, it's due to the soil being this way. On the other hand, it's also because the speed of cultivating demonic techniques is faster, suitable for loose cultivators. Meng Xiaochuan wore a purple dress, her beauty ethereal, giving off a mesmerizing aura to those who looked at her. Lu Changsheng nodded, understanding the differences between demonic and orthodox cultivation techniques. Compared to orthodox techniques, the speed of practicing demonic techniques is indeed faster, but breaking through realms is much more difficult. Moreover, forming a perfect Dao foundation or superior grade gold core with demonic techniques is much harder than with orthodox techniques. However, not all demonic techniques can be casually cultivated in the Jin Kingdom, as many are also prohibited, Meng Xiaochuan continued, indicating that techniques that require killing to advance are not allowed even in the Jin Kingdom. After all, for demonic sects, both mortals and cultivators are resources, and they want to allow others to kill wantonly. If some power does such things on its territory, other forces might turn a blind eye. But besides loose cultivators, very few would practice such techniques. Because, generally speaking, when breaking through from core formation to nascent soul, one would encounter the demonic tribulation and heavenly tribulation. But with such cultivation techniques, even breaking through from foundation establishment to core formation could trigger the demonic tribulation and heavenly tribulation. Therefore, practicing such techniques makes breaking through core formation nearly impossible. Only some loose cultivators with nowhere else to go would practice such techniques. These techniques being circulated are likely deliberately done by certain forces, right? Lu Changsheng said casually. In Jiang country, all cultivation techniques at the advanced level and above are controlled by the 4 great immortal sects and family forces, leaving loose cultivators with few access points. He didn't believe the Jin Kingdom didn't have similar practices. Yes, like the Heavenly Corpse sect often circulate some techniques. If someone practices these techniques, they later become suitable for the Heavenly Corpse sect's corpse refinement. Meng Xiaochuan nodded and said, "Ha." Lu Changsheng shook his head and chuckled. Sister Xiaochuan. Just then, a young girl in a purple dress approached gracefully, and upon seeing Lu Changsheng, she exclaimed in surprise, "Senior Lu, You're here too. Sister Xiaochan, there's something I need you to handle. As for Senior Lu, let me show him around instead. The girl was still veiled with a purple veil, her vibrant purple dress making many cultivators in the marketplace gaze respectfully, admiringly, and lovingly, but not daring to stare too much, lest they offend the beauty. Of course, this was also because, in years past, a cultivator who stared lecherously at Nangong Yaoyao had his eyes dug out and was thrown out of the marketplace. Meng Xiaochan heard this and, seeing the cute girl in front of her, hesitated, suspecting that she might have realized something. After all, since childhood, the girl had been wise and mischievous, so it's normal for her to have suspicions with the sudden presence of someone like Lu Changsheng. Sister Xiaochan, you go ahead. I'll have a chat with Yao Yao. Lu Changsheng conveyed, through sound transmission, to Meng Xiaochan. Sarch * the novel, F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Lang, Yao Yao might have guessed your identity. Be a bit cautious. I also don't know her attitude towards you. Meng Xiaochan transmitted back and then nodded to Nangong Yaoyao, flying towards Heavenly Spider Peak. In that case, they'll leave it to Miss Yao Yao. Lu Changsheng looked at the purple dress girl in front of him and smiled lightly. He could clearly see that there was something up with her. In fact, he believed this so-called chance encounter was something the girl had actively orchestrated. However, since she wanted to chat with him, he didn't mind talking. What would Senior Lu like to see? The girl blinked her starry eyes, twinkling brightly, like the most splendid star in the night sky. Easy. We can stroll around anywhere. Lu Changsheng laughed. The two walked along the street. How long does Senior Lu plan to stay at the Immortal Spider Marketplace? Nangong Yaoyao asked casually. I might stay for a while. I'm not sure about the specifics. Lu Changsheng replied. Will Senior invite Sister Xiaochan to leave with you? The girl glanced at Lu Changsheng and asked. That depends on Xiaocan's wishes. Lu Changsheng said casually, then glanced at the girl and asked, Miss Yao Yao, have you practiced charming skills? Indeed, Yao Yao has dual cultivated in these techniques, but not with the intention to charm others. Nangong Yaoyao said a little aggrieved, thinking that the other party's methods were exceptional, seeing traces of charm in her. Then she looked at Lu Changsheng, tilted her head adorably, and said, I noticed, Senior Lu, it seems you've practiced charming skills too? Lu Changsheng was taken aback, but thinking of his current situation, claiming to have practiced charming skills made sense. I dabbled a little in the past. He smiled and said, not bothering to explain further. It's quite rare for men to practice charming skills. The girl's rosy lips arched into a smile. She said playfully, Haha, I just happened to acquire the inheritance, so I studied it for a while. Lu Changsheng laughed. If Miss Yao Yao is interested, we could exchange and discuss it sometime. During their conversation, they found a restaurant and sat down. Nangong Yaoyao took the initiative to pour tea for Lu Changsheng, who raised his hand to stop her, indicating he would do it himself. With a flick of his hand, he took out his usual tea utensils from his storage ring and skillfully brewed tea. This is tea I obtained while traveling in the Wu country, Miss Yao Yao, have taste. Lu Changsheng said with a light smile. This tea was something he acquired from the White Peak Immortal, belonging to the third rank. As for the water, it was sourced from his own spiritual ice spring. Using such tea was to divert attention from his fabricated words yesterday. And also, when facing his daughter, he instinctively brought out good things. This tea is truly delicious. The girl took a small sip, her brows arching delightfully. If Miss Yao Yao likes it, I have some more. Consider it a guide fee. Lu Changsheng smiled as he handed the remaining small jar of tea leaves to her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1383. No, it's too valuable. Mother said not to randomly accept things from others. Nangong Yaoyao had an obedient and cute expression, repeatedly refusing. It's all right. These tea leaves aren't worth much. And besides, Xiaochan is busy, so I might need to trouble Miss Yao Yao next. Lu Changsheng said with gentle eyes and a smile. Then thank you, Senior Lu. Nangong Yao Yao refused twice and then accepted with a cheerful smile. The two then drank tea and chatted together. From charming skills to other cultivation techniques and related cultivation. Although Lu Changsheng did not cultivate charming skills, his current understanding of cultivation techniques made it exceedingly easy to guide a young girl at the foundation establishment stage. Even though her mother was at the core formation stage, giving her a natural advantage through exposure, she was still several levels beneath Lu Changsheng. Throughout the process, Lu Changsheng talked from ordinary bewitching techniques and charm techniques to 7 emotions and 6 desires, stirring others' mental spirit. The 6 desires arise from the heart. A fleeting thought separates immortals and demons. I happen to have a cultivation technique named 6 Desires Heart Demon Technique. If Miss Yao Yao is interested, you can study it a bit. Lu Changxing spoke up, taking out a cultivation technique jade slip from his storage ring. This cultivation technique was very top level, but cultivating it was too dangerous, hence it was not placed in the family's library. However, the clever and gifted girl in front of him could attempt to cultivate it. Given her situation, if she could master this technique, her combat power and charming skills would be tremendously enhanced. Wouldn't this be too precious? Nangong Yao Yao blinked her somewhat beautiful eyes with an innocent and cute expression. It's no big deal. I find chatting with young friends quite enjoyable, so don't be shy. Lu Changsheng chuckled, handing the jade slip to her. He then explained some key points, precautions, and expressed that if she had any questions or doubts, she could directly come to him. Thank you, Senior Lu. Nangong Yao Yao said with a joyful smile. Goodbye, Senior Lu. The young girl cheerfully waved at Lu Changsheng, then gracefully departed. It seems my daughter has already figured out my identity. Lu Changsheng watched Nangong Yao Yao's figure, squinting slightly, murmuring to himself. He had previously reviewed this daughter's information and learned from Meng Xiaochan about her, knowing she was not as innocent as she seemed. But today in their interaction, she behaved completely like an innocent and inexperienced cute girl in front of him, clearly intentionally disguising to make him lower his guard and then learn about him. Is this considered a test? Lu Changsheng rubbed his chin and then shook his head with a light chuckle. Currently having nothing else to do, he didn't mind playing along with this daughter. Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yao Yao didn't return to her residence, but instead found Meng Xiaochan before Lu Changsheng. CTH novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yao Yao, how did your chat with Lu? The senior go. Meng Xiaochan looked at the girl in the purple dress with a doting gaze. Sister Xiaochan, is this Senior Lu my father? Nangong Yao Yao asked with her head tilted, holding Meng Xiaoquan's arm. Her face was full of smiles, yet her expression was very calm, as if she was talking about something very ordinary. Boom! Meng Xiaoquan's heart skipped a beat, silently exclaiming that Yao Yao had indeed guessed Lu Lang's identity. Not only did she have a breathtaking appearance that could charm hearts, but she also had eyes that could see through others. When meeting Lu Changsheng before, she probably already had this guess, and now with their interaction, she might have confirmed most of it. Yao Yao knows. Afraid of making Meng Xiaochan embarrassed, the young girl did not push her to say the answer, she said with a smile. She then snuggled against her arm, coyly said, Sister Xiaochan, what kind of person is Senior Lu? In Meng Xiaoquan's mind, Lu Changsheng had been idealized countless times, but when it came time to express it to Nangong Yao Yao, she didn't know where to start. However, seeing the girl's face full of genuine curiosity, she eventually began to describe the Lu Changsheng she knew. Lu, Taoist, he is not only handsome in appearance, but also immensely talented. He has profound knowledge. Not only in cultivation, but in many fields he has remarkable achievements. Facing any matter calmly and resolving risks with ease. He has a broad mind, treats others with humility, understands everything thoroughly, and is benevolent, responsible, like a perfect gentleman. He not only has the ambition to swallow the heavens, but also has tender feelings. Hearing Meng Xiaoquan's words, Nangong Yaoyao was a bit stunned, thinking, was Sister Xiaochan bewitched? Who praises someone like this? But considering Meng Xiaochan would never deceive her, hearing such incredible words, she felt it quite true. On one hand, from today's conversation, she could feel this Senior Lu's knowledge was entirely beyond what a ninth-level foundation establishment cultivator should possess. His insights into cultivation did not seem inferior to her mother's, perhaps even surpassing them. Moreover, she was aware of her mother's personality. She couldn't understand what kind of man would captivate her mother enough to give birth to her. For a long time, she believed that he had conflicts or enmity with her mother, which was why her mother always said she had no father. But if such a flawless man existed, it seemed plausible for her mother to fall in love with him. After saying almost everything, Meng Xiaochan asked the girl in the purple dress, "Yao Yao, how did your chat with Senior Lu go?" "It was great, Senior Lu. He not only gave me a jar of tea leaves, but also a cultivation technique." Nangong Yaoyao shared the day's events with Meng Xiaochan. Although she didn't reveal their relationship, she has always been candid with Meng Xiaochan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1384. The two chatted and laughed like sisters. "Sister Xiaochan, you must keep it a secret." After chatting for a while, Nangong Yaoyao winked at Meng Xiaochan and said, "Okay." Meng Xiaochan lovingly patted the girl's glossy and smooth hair. That night, "Lu Lang, Yaoyao has already confirmed your identity, but she's not ready to acknowledge it yet. She probably wants to know more about you." Meng Xiaochan, dressed in a purple gown, nestled in Lu Changsheng's embrace and whispered, "Let her be." Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly. Since his daughter wants more interactions, he doesn't mind. It's just a chance to gain her favor earlier. Anyway, calculating the time, Nangong Meili won't return for another month or two, so there's no rush. When Yaoyao was young, she often asked about her father, but her master remained tight-lipped, and so Yaoyao gradually stopped asking. Meng Xiaochan continued talking about Nangong Yaoyao's childhood. She was especially well protected by Nangong Meili when she was young, truly innocent and naive. However, Nangong Meili also understood that in a place like the Jin Kingdom's Five Poisons cult, being too innocent isn't a good thing. So, as Yaoyao grew older, she was gradually exposed to the world's dangers. Listening, Lu Changsheng not only understood Nangong Yaoyao better, but also shifted his impressions of Nangong Meili. This woman, though a demonic path cultivator, is quite a competent mother. Probably because of this, she chose to give birth to Yaoyao, and when she heard he was coming to see Yaoyao, she was so nervous. In the ensuing days, Nangong Yaoyao often came to chat with Lu Changsheng. Besides seeking advice on the Six Desires Heart Demon technique, she sought guidance on cultivation and other related matters. For all these inquiries, Lu Changsheng responded patiently. He even showcased his skills in alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making, puppetry, music mastery, spiritual cooking, wine brewing, and so forth. During this process, every time he exhibited a skill, Nangong Yaoyao's eyes sparkled with admiration as she looked at Lu Changsheng with awe and reverence. At these moments, Lu Changsheng felt a lack in his cultivation techniques and skills. If only he knew gu breeding, gu refining, poison techniques, etc., he could showcase them well in front of his daughter. "Lu Lang, when do you plan to reveal the truth to Yaoyao?" That night, Meng Xiaochan softly asked Lu Changsheng. She noticed that the father and daughter had been getting along quite well, and Nangong Yaoyao had a favorable impression of Lu Changsheng as her father. Yaoyao probably wants to know what happened between her mother and me years ago, and worries that acknowledging me would upset her mother. Lu Changsheng shook his head gently. Through these days of interaction, he understood why Nangong Yaoyao was hesitant to reveal their relationship. Compared to him as a father, she leaned more towards her mother. That's normal. After all, he had only known her for this short period, and how could his standing in her heart surpass Nangong Meili? "Master went to the Jin Kingdom earlier and hasn't returned yet," Meng Xiaochan said softly, looking worried. She not only worried about her master's well-being, but also about her master's encounter with Lu Changsheng. She should be back in about a month. Lu Changsheng said. Oh, Meng Xiaoqian was stunned, looking at Lu Changsheng in surprise. Lu Lang, how do you know that? I met her earlier. Initially, I wanted to come see Yao Yao with her, but she was unwilling, so I came first. Lu Changsheng didn't hide anything from Meng Xiaoqian and said directly. What? Lu Lang, you met Master? Meng Xiaoqian was even more bewildered. Lu Lang had already met Master and wanted to come with her to see Yao Yao. But Master's trip to Jiang country, wasn't she supposed to confront Lu Lang? Why didn't anything happen, and Lu Lang arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace first? She was utterly confused. Lu Lang, Master she. Meng Xiaoqian spoke but hesitated, unsure what to say. Despite her deep affection for Lu Changsheng and her sole focus on his well-being, she held profound feelings for her master Nangong Meili. Thinking that nothing had happened, she hoped no further conflicts would arise between the two. Don't worry, I've already broken through core formation, so there's no need to worry about your master. Lu Changsheng naturally understood what she wanted to say and chuckled lightly. What? Lu Lang, you've broken through core formation already? Meng Xiaoqian was astonished, looking at Lu Changsheng. Consider, she reached Foundation Establishment before Lu Changsheng. Since arriving in the Jin Kingdom, she refined the myriad poisons devouring heart technique, using the heart-eating goo to its peak, and tapped in her 1,000 threads of poison Bodhis potential, progressing quickly in cultivation, having reached the 9th level Foundation Establishment. But breaking through to core formation was still uncertain. CTH Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. On one hand, she needed to solidify her foundation. On the other, breaking Foundation Establishment into core formation required extensive preparation. Even being a true inheritor of the 5 poisons cult with a core formation master, she had to accumulate enough contribution points and redeem the coagulation crystal elixir for a secure breakthrough to core formation. Completing all these would take at least 10 years, even 2 or 3 decades. Yet Lu Changsheng had already broken through to core formation at this moment. His speed was astonishing. Indeed, Lu Changsheng nodded with a smile. No wonder you are Lu Lang, truly exceptional. Meng Xiaoqian's eyes were filled with admiration and pride. Her beloved breaking through to core formation at such a young age brought her immense joy and pride. But Master's cultivation level already broke through to middle stage core formation. So Lu Lang, you should still be cautious. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1385, she continued to remind him. She indicated that although Master was severely damaged in Jiuxiao Immortal City early on, with his life-bound heavenly spider killed, he still had some means that were impossible to guard against. Don't worry, I'm confident. Lu Changsheng didn't say much, just responded with a calm and composed tone. But from his seemingly plain tone, Meng Xiaoqian could hear an undeniable confidence. She quietly nestled in Lu Changsheng's arms, and her initially anxious heart completely relaxed, feeling nothing but tranquility. On this day, Lu Changsheng and Nangong Yao Yao left Immortal Spider Marketplace to go out and play. After all, Immortal Spider Marketplace was only so big. The two had already explored it thoroughly over the past month, so Nangong Yao Yao saw that Lu Changsheng was new to Jin Kingdom and decided to take him out for a walk. Senior Lu, there's a little eatery called Iron Crutch Lee Snacks at the Lu's Cultivator Stronghold ahead, which is very delicious. I've been there several times with Sister Xiaoqian before. Nangong Yao Yao wore a purple dress with a veil over her face, her eyes sparkling like stars, lively and adorable. Lu Changsheng could tell that the way she appeared now was not a disguise. She was genuinely relaxed, lively, and happy. From previous conversations, he knew Nangong Yao Yao rarely left the marketplace alone. When going out to have fun, she mostly went with her mother Nangong Meili or Meng Xiaoqian. Now, Going out with him and being so relaxed indicated that she had accepted him in her heart. However, thinking of the imminent return of Nangong Meili, Lu Changsheng felt a bit of a headache. After all, once she returned, if she said something bad, the efforts of these days would be in vain. Huh, then let's go have a taste. Lu Changsheng laughed gently, planning to come clean with his daughter later. After all, without Nangong Meili, he was still willing to continue playing with his daughter like this. But with Nangong Meili as an unstable factor, now that the time was about right, it was unnecessary to drag it out any longer. The two chatting and laughing arrived at a small village. Nangong Yaoyao took Lu Changsheng to a small shop with a sign, Iron Crutch Lee Snacks, and they could see the owner had one leg crippled. Senior Lu, how's the taste? Nangong Yaoyao asked with a beaming smile. It's delicious. Lu Changsheng looked at the scorpions and centipedes in front of him and twitched the corner of his mouth as he spoke. To be honest, the taste was okay, but he truly had no interest in this kind of food. Hee. Seeing this, Nangong Yaoyao's eyebrows curved, her face full of smiles. At this moment, Lu Changsheng suddenly turned his head and saw a distant tavern. At the window on the second floor of the tavern, there was a thin, gray-haired old man staring at this place. A nascent soul cultivator? Lu Changsheng squinted his eyes slightly. His heart moved slightly, realizing this was a nascent soul cultivator. And the other party was clearly looking in his direction just now. How could a nascent soul cultivator appear in a place meant for energy-refining cultivators? The thin old man also noticed Lu Changsheng looking over, his small eyes shifting like green beans, captivating. Who is this person? The old man frowned. For the other party to notice him, he was definitely not an ordinary cultivator, most likely a nascent soul cultivator. But in his memory, he didn't recall such a nascent soul cultivator. Could it be someone Nangong Meili invited to protect her daughter? The old man's murky eyes glowed with a ghostly green light. Although Nangong Meili claimed in public that this daughter was adopted, but many people speculated this was her biological daughter, seeing how the mother and daughter looked alike and how Nangong Meili treated her like a treasure. No matter what, this is an opportunity. As long as I can capture this girl and prevent her from returning to the sect, Finger will have one less competitor. Once this matter blows over, release her afterwards, and even if Nangong Meili comes back, she won't have much to say. The old man's narrow eyes shifted, his gaze spinning as he contemplated inwardly. As for Lu Changsheng next to her, he wasn't overly concerned. Although the other party might be a nascent soul cultivator, it's just a possibility. Even if they're a nascent soul cultivator, there are differences in strength. Are they coming for Yao Yao? Lu Changsheng withdrew his gaze and observed the elder situation through the Tai divine soul. He realized the person's target was his daughter, Nangong Yaoyao. Could it be that right after his daughter left the marketplace, she caught the attention of a nascent soul cultivator? Isn't that too much of a coincidence? Besides, why would this person be interested in Nangong Yaoyao? Start the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Spiritual body? It shouldn't be. Nangong Yaoyao's flawless heavenly fragrance body was concealed by Nangong Meili with a certain treasure, making it difficult for ordinary people to recognize it directly. An enemy of Nangong Meili? Constantly watching Nangong Yaoyao, preparing to make a move now that she left the marketplace? No matter what it is, Lu Changsheng naturally wants to solve this trouble for his daughter at this moment. Moreover, in his view, this is a good opportunity. He can take the chance to show off a little in front of his daughter and then reveal his identity. Perfect. Lu Changsheng made up his mind, thinking about how to act a bit more handsome later. Suddenly, he frowned slightly, realizing something was wrong. It seemed like in the air, there's poison. Lu Changsheng immediately realized the air was poisoned. The next moment, thud, 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 people nearby suddenly collapsed one by one. Senior Lu, be careful, there's poison. Without waiting for Lu Changsheng to speak, Nangong Yaoyao realized there was poison, immediately held her breath, enveloped her body with mana, and said through sound transmission, "Buzz, A thin elder with gray-white hair and a centipede scar on his face slowly approached. He seemed sluggish, but in the blink of an eye, he was several yards away from Lu Changsheng and Nangong Yaoyao. Looking at Nangong Yaoyao, he said, "Niece Nangong, Uncle has some matters. Would you come with me? I wonder what Uncle Fengwu wants with Yaoyao." Nangong Yaoyao felt her mana was somewhat sluggish, but still maintained a calm demeanor, speaking with a sweet and adorable face. Five Poisons Cult, Envoy Fengwu. Lu Changsheng was somewhat surprised. He didn't know much about the Five Poisons Cult, only that the Five Poisons Cult leader was a nascent Soul True Lord, with subordinates including the Spirit Snake, Jade Toad, Heavenly Spider, Wind Centipede, and Holy Scorpion, 5 envoys. All 5 are nascent soul immortals, of which Nangong Meili is the Heavenly Spider envoy. Now Nangong Yaoyao calls the elder in front of her Uncle Fengwu, indicating that this person is the Wind Centipede envoy of the Five Poisons Cult. But why would this Wind Centipede envoy make a move against Nangong Yaoyao? Even the demon sect wouldn't go to such lengths, would they? Rest assured, Uncle only invites you to stay for a few days. Wind Centipede envoy stood with hands behind his back, his figure slightly hunched, his voice old and hoarse. Yaoyao needs to inform Mother of this matter first. If Mother agrees, Yaoyao will follow Uncle's arrangement. Nangong Yaoyao still wore a sweet face, her voice sugary, but her hand was already holding several talismans. Little girl, no need to play tricks, just come with the old man. The elder chuckled, raising his hand lightly. With methods like these of Nangong Yaoyao's, she would undoubtedly stand out among her peers, but in front of him, a nascent soul immortal, she was utterly without concealment. Buzz! Nangong Yaoyao suddenly felt a light breeze blow over, her mana ceasing to flow, her body difficult to move. Old man, to touch my daughter in front of me, you truly have immense courage. At this moment, Lu Changsheng stood up next to them, looked at the Wind Centipede envoy in front, and spoke in a calm and indifferent tone. Senior Lu, Nangong Yaoyao upon hearing these words seemed not joyful, but rather anxious, saying, "Uncle Fengwu won't harm me. Please don't." She understood that the elder in front wouldn't take her life, but with Lu Changsheng, it might not be the same. However, before she could finish her words, Lu Changsheng reached out with a warm and broad hand, gently stroking her hair, speaking softly. "Yaoyao, with Dad here, don't be afraid. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1386. Yaoyao, with your father here, don't be afraid. The gentle and mellow voice was like a spring breeze brushing across her ear, making Nangong Yaoyao's expression freeze. A wave of unprecedented comfort and peace swept through her heart. She slightly lifted her forehead, staring blankly at Lu Changsheng before her. Even though she had long guessed that Lu Changsheng was her father, the sudden acknowledgement still left her in a daze. "Are you really my father?" Nangong Yaoyao's lips parted slightly, her beautiful eyes dazed, with emotions like excitement, surprise, joy, nervousness, and longing flowing through them. "Didn't you already guess it?" Lu Changsheng smiled and spoke, no longer concealing his presence. Instantly, a bloodline resonance formed between father and daughter, creating a miraculous sense of affinity. So you're the man of Nangong Meili?" The Wind Centipede envoy heard these words, looking at Lu Changsheng with some surprise and astonishment. After scrutinizing him for a moment, he chuckled softly. "I never thought Nangong Meili would choose such a man. It is truly interesting." As one of the Five Poisons Cult's envoys, he was naturally very familiar with Nangong Meili. He knew this woman's beauty was enchantingly seductive, enough to captivate nations, but her heart was venomous like a serpent. She never spared any words to men, using them until they were exhausted, then discarding them like used rags. Yet Lu Changsheng, with decent looks and only at the initial stage of core formation, had caught Nangong Meili's eye and even had a child with her. To dare speak to this old man this way, I shall see what you can do. Otherwise, today's father-daughter reunion will become a farewell. The old man's voice was hoarse and piercing, unpredictable, suddenly making gesture incantations with his hands, causing fierce winds to rise from all directions, sweeping towards Lu Changsheng. "Father, be careful," Nangong Yao Yao hastily warned. Though she didn't know her newly acknowledged father's strength, she knew the old man's power was fathomless, not at all inferior to her mother's. Noisy, Lu Changsheng suddenly looked towards the winged centipede envoy, his refined and handsome face instantly becoming dignified and stern, his eyes like torches. Two beams of golden light shot straight out, penetrating the heavens and earth, breaking through the gale and attacking the old man. "Impudent!" The wind centipede envoy shouted coldly, a bamboo staff appearing in his hand that looked coiled with 12 centipedes, lightly striking forward. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The 12 centipedes seemed to come alive, bearing fangs and brandishing claws, spewing black mist, making it impossible for the golden light to advance. Boom! However, at that moment, a yin-yang hand with distinct textures appeared in the heavenly dome at an unknown time, pressing down with rolling might, majestic and boundless. This massive hand was like an ancient small mountain, permeated with a frightening force, pressing towards the old man, making his whole body feel heavy and appalled, instantly surrounded by gale winds as his figure darted aside, unpredictably. At this moment, Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, realizing there was a pervasive poison in the air, letting out a cold snort. A formless treasure wheel appeared behind his head, flowing with brilliant, mysterious light. Boom! Immediately following, the formless treasure wheel blazed like a wheel of fire, resonating with the yin-yang law domain, protecting Nangong Yao Yao, then suppressing towards the old man. Buzz! The unpredictable wind centipede envoy instantly felt an invisible mana constraint upon him, slowing his entire mana a few notches. How is this possible? He gazed at Lu Changsheng with shock, not expecting that being at the initial stage of core formation, the opponent would have such prowess. Watching the massive hand press down towards him again, he struck with his centipede staff, the 12 centipedes roaring and howling like 12 flood dragons, teeth and claws bared, blocking the 1 chi grand capture. Yet he found this yin-yang hand's pressure growing heavier like an ancient divine mountain, immediately letting out a sharp whistle. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Suddenly, from the distance, a massive centipede resembling an earth dragon burrowed out, raising a gale, seemingly trying to take Nangong Yao Yao away. Courting death. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng's 9 treasures Rui bone on his chest erupted brilliantly, his entire magical aura roaring like a tsunami. Search * the novel. F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The hand suppressing the old man suddenly exploded with a profound aura like an ocean abyss, as if the 9th heaven directly crashed down, suppressing so that he vomited blood, unable to move. Boom! Simultaneously, the distant black centipede was also suppressed by a yin-yang mysterious light filled with a powerful aura, letting out a mournful cry. Go! The wind centipede envoy, hair disheveled, with a pitiful expression and panic in his heart, knowing he was no match for Lu Changsheng. His figure instantly turned wind-like, unpredictable, attempting to escape. Think you can leave? Lu Changsheng's expression turned icy, stepping forward, pushing his yin-yang law domain to its limit, interwoven with the yin-yang Taoist chart, making this expanse of void freeze like a cage. Then he appeared in front of the old man, his 5 fingers forming a fist, suddenly smashing out, breaking all his bones, causing him to vomit blood, his true elixir dimmed. At this moment, Nangong Yao Yao beside him watched in amazement. This her newly acknowledged father was too powerful, wasn't he? One must know that this wind centipede envoy was an envoy of the 5 poisons cult. Same as her mother, his strength was unfathomable. Yet now, in just a few short moves, he was beaten by her father to the point of vomiting blood. Father! She hurriedly called out, signaling Lu Changsheng not to kill. After all, this was the territory of the Five Poisons cult. If he killed the Five Poisons cult's wind centipede envoy here, it would provoke great trouble. Yes, Lu Changsheng naturally understood this principle, nodded slightly, and the yin-yang qi grasp immediately suppressed and detained him. Then the formless treasure wheel burst forth with dazzling glow, manifesting a realm that suppressed the wind centipede envoy within. As a nascent soul immortal of the Five Poisons cult, under the current circumstances, it was indeed unwise to slay him. Moreover, the fact that he came unannounced to attack his daughter definitely had a reason. It would be better to wait for Nangong Meili to come back and handle it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1387. Not far away, a dark centipede, resembling an earth dragon, hissed at the scene, black gas swirling as it desperately struggled against the yin-yang mysterious light, trying to escape. For a third-rank demon king like this, its spiritual intelligence was no less than that of a human. It knew it was no match for Lu Changsheng and should go back for help. However, how could Lu Changsheng let it escape? He shot forward abruptly, and with a great hand of magical power, he unleashed the One Qi Grand Capture. Boom, boom, boom. The massive body of the centipede was seized in the yin-yang hand, and it exploded with a crash, black gas rolling out and dark blood splattering. Only when the enemy's vitality was nearly diminished did Lu Changsheng imprison it into a fist-sized sphere with the One Qi Grand Capture and hold it in his palm. Yao, it's all right now. After finishing, Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter with an expression as calm and gentle as the clouds, speaking softly. Daddy, you're so powerful. Nangong Yao looked at Lu Changsheng in front of her, speaking excitedly and joyfully, her eyes like twinkling stars filled with admiration and reverence. If previously her admiration, reverence, and affection toward Lu Changsheng, her convenient father, had a certain degree of pretense at this moment, her gaze toward Lu Changsheng was completely sincere, filled with genuine admiration, looking up to him like a high mountain. The main thing was that it was truly astonishing. The renowned, nascent soul immortal of her sect, Wind Centipede Ambassador, had no power to fight back in front of her father and was suppressed in an instant. Lu Changsheng, seeing his daughter like this, slightly curved his lips. Even after decades had passed, he still loved this feeling of being admired by his wives and children. Moreover, this daughter was different from his other children, making him feel very comfortable at heart, secretly thinking the visit of the Wind Centipede Ambassador was well-timed today. Yao, why did this person make a move against you? Lu Changsheng placed his hand on his daughter's fragrant shoulder, using yin-yang magic power to remove some residual poison for her. This Wind Centipede Ambassador had extraordinary means, silently making the air poisonous. His physical body was naturally unafraid, but his daughter was slightly affected. Daddy, I don't know either. Nangong Yao shook her head and said. She suspected something had happened within the sect, or something happened to her mother, which prompted the other party to suddenly target her. But she wasn't certain about this, so she didn't voice her suspicion. When your mother returns in a few days, let her take a look. Lu Changsheng didn't ask further, directly saying, Mother? Daddy, do you know where Mother is? Hearing this, Nangong Yao immediately became concerned. After hearing about the Tianyuan secret realm incident, she had been worried about her mother's situation. Your mother was delayed by something. She might be back in a month or two. Of course, Lu Changsheng wouldn't say he was the reason why Nangong Meili hadn't returned. I planned to come with your mother, but she happened to have some matters at hand. I couldn't wait and came first. It's my fault I haven't been able to be by your side since childhood, so I wasn't sure how to recognize you. Lu Changsheng sighed, blaming himself. It's okay, Daddy. You're so powerful. You must have many things to do. Nangong Yao showed great understanding and kindness. Under the guidance of her mother, Nangong Meili, she understood human nature. Knowing her father felt guilty toward her now, if she acted spoiled, it would gradually erode the father's affection. The more obedient and sensible she acted, the more her father would pamper her. Lu Changsheng patted her soft hair without speaking. This daughter seemed obedient and sensible, but he could see she was deliberately catering to him. It made him feel there was still a barrier between them as father and daughter. However, the two had just met, and their relationship had yet to be built, which was normal. Seeing the mortal cultivators all around fainting, Lu Changsheng placed his hand on his chest, and the 9 treasures Rui bone burst into radiance, emanating a surging, mysterious aura. Buzz, 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 tadpole-like symbols intertwined. Then he cast a 3rd-rank rain talisman, causing the gentle rain and healing divine light to fall. The events today had started because of him and his daughter. If he did nothing, 99% of these people would never awaken, turning into piles of dry bones. So, facing such circumstances, Lu Changsheng was willing to lend a helping hand. Nangong Yao Yao, beside him, was a little surprised by her father's actions, rarely seeing this. In her view, these people were mere low-status loose cultivators and mortals. Their deaths would be inconsequential. Why go to such trouble and waste a 3rd-rank talisman to save them? 1 3rd-rank talisman could be enough to buy their lives. Being human means doing human things. They suffered this disaster because of us, so we should help if we can. Lu Changsheng glanced at his daughter, patted her head, and said, "Understood. Thank you, Daddy." The girl in the purple dress nodded her little head vigorously, showing a look of being enlightened. She gained a new understanding of her father. Being human means doing human things. This was entirely different from her mother's perspective. CTH novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At this moment, she was even more curious about the matters between her father and mother. We'll go back first. Without saying much more, Lu Changsheng took her back to the Immortal Spider Marketplace. See if their outing, he and Nangong Yao Yao, had affected Meng Xiaochan. When they returned, they found that the marketplace had encountered no issues. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1388. Afterward, Lu Changsheng explained the earlier situation to Meng Xiaochan. What? The Wind Centipede envoy came to attack Yao Yao. Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan exclaimed in shock. Days ago, Lu Changsheng told her he had broken through to core formation, which already surprised her immensely. Now Lu Changsheng was saying that the Wind Centipede envoy came looking for trouble and was suppressed by him. This Meng Xiaochan was utterly confounded, her expression dazed, feeling like she was hearing things. After all, she knew better than Nangong Yao Yao about the power of this Wind Centipede envoy. He had long since achieved core formation middle stage, and in earlier years single-handedly destroyed a nascent soul family. His strength was exceptionally formidable. Yet now, he was easily suppressed by her lover. Doesn't this mean her master isn't a match for Lu Lang either? Nangong Yao Yao, watching Meng Xiaocan's surprise, was a bit baffled. Then, with great excitement, she gestured animatedly while recounting the situation. That's right, Sister Xiaochan, you didn't see it at that time. Father, initially, Meng Xiaochan was worried about whether this incident would cause trouble for Lu Changsheng, but upon hearing her master would return in a month or 2, she felt relieved. However, she still suggested that Lu Changsheng and Nangong Yao Yao could go out for a while until her master returned. After all, it was fine if no one from the sect paid attention. If the sect suddenly had reasons to seek out the Wind Centipede envoy and realize something was wrong, it might cause trouble for Lu Changsheng. Brilliant! Lu Changsheng immediately praised Meng Xiaocan's astute suggestion. He had been thinking about how to use Nangong Meili's return as an excuse to take his daughter out for some bonding. Now, the perfect reason presented itself. Yao Yao, what do you think? Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter, seeking her opinion. Yao Yao listens to father. The girl blinked her eyes innocently and said obediently, All right. Lu Changsheng smiled and then said to Meng Xiaochan, Xiaochan, We'll take Yao Yao out for a while and come back later. If you need anything, you can crush this talisman, and he'll sense it." Speaking, he reached into his storage ring to take out a sensing talisman. In the next moment, as if remembering something, he also took out a blank jade slip, left a divine sense message inside, and handed it to Meng Xiaochan. "If your master returns and inquires, you can give this to her." "Okay." Meng Xiaochan nodded, sensing something must have happened between her lover and master in Jiang country. At this moment, discussing master seemed perfectly natural for Lu Changsheng. "Come here, Yao Yao. This is the gift father prepared for our meeting." Lu Changsheng recalled the present he had prepared for his daughter, taking out a jar from the spiritual pet bag. Oh, the previous gifts father gave Yao Yao were already much loved by Yao Yao. The purple-skirted girl smiled, her eyes like crystal stars gazing admiringly at Lu Changsheng, filled with affection and joy. "Those gifts were nothing. This one is specially prepared for you by father," Lu Changsheng said with a laugh. "Yao Yao, thanks father." Nangong Yao Yao instantly delighted like a child given candy, her eyes brimming with anticipation. Regardless, this daughter truly excelled at offering emotional support. "Huh, is this a goo insect?" Nangong Yao Yao opened the jar to find a thumb-sized, withered-looking pink silkworm. "Indeed, this goo is called Heavenly Fragrance Goo." Lu Changsheng smiled and said, "Heavenly Fragrance Goo." Nangong Yao Yao's lips parted in surprise. She knew her spiritual body was the flawless heavenly fragrance body. Her father suddenly giving her a heavenly fragrance goo couldn't possibly have nothing to do with her spiritual body. She truly couldn't believe it. Moreover, she sensed a divine resonance from this goo insect. "I heard from your mother that you possess the flawless heavenly fragrance body, and this goo insect, when initially cultivated, has effects somewhat similar to the flawless heavenly fragrance body, which can make one's body emit fragrance. When the goo insect reaches its second transformation, the fragrance effect further enhances, making enemies reluctant to harm, reducing their hostility and killing intent by threefold. Upon reaching third transformation, even facing enemies will make them softer-hearted and merciful. If it ascends to fourth transformation, it may enhance fortune and chance, being favored by the heavens." Lu Changsheng calmly, yet warmly described the heavenly fragrance gust effects. Upon hearing the details, Nangong Yao Yao was utterly amazed. Even though she was merely a foundation establishment cultivator, she clearly understood the potency of this goo insect. CTH Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Early effects might be quite ordinary, but after the fourth transformation, elevating fortune and opportunity was simply astonishing. When it came to aspects of heavenly fortune, it meant this goo insect was at least a top-level earth spirit goo, possibly even a heavenly spirit goo. Furthermore, the most crucial point was that this goo insect was the perfect match for her. The seemingly ordinary early effects, coupled with her abilities, would result in an effect of 1 + 1 equaling 3, even fourfold. "Father, is this really for me?" Her starlit eyes sparkled, gleaming with joy. "Of course, do you like it?" Lu Changsheng chuckled and asked. Yes, Yao Yao loves it. Thank you, father." Nangong Yao Yao nodded excitedly, giving Lu Changsheng a sweet kiss on the cheek to express her gratitude. Nearby, Meng Xiaochan observed the deep father-daughter bond, feeling a little sour in her heart. Lu Lang came to visit her and Yao Yao, preparing such a precious gift for Yao Yao, while she had received nothing. "Yao Yao, you've been tired today. Go rest first. Tomorrow father will take you out to play and help you refine this heavenly fragrance goo." Lu Changsheng, with his sharp senses, noticed Meng Xiaoquan's emotions and gently instructed Nangong Yao Yao. Then he held Meng Xiaoquan's slender, jade-like hand, expressing that he had also prepared a gift for her. This elixir is called Evil X Banisher Elixir, capable of dispelling various goo poison, sealing, curses, prohibition divine skills, and other effects. Perhaps it can break your Lockhart goo. Lu Changsheng stated directly. This elixir medicine was won by him in a sweepstake years ago and had been collecting dust. Upon remembering Meng Xiaoquan's situation, he decided to give her the elixir medicine to see if it could dissolve the Lockhart goo. On one hand, Lu Ancestor no longer cared to use such methods to captivate a woman's heart. On the other hand, for Nangong Meili and his daughter Nangong Yaoyao. After all, the Lockhart goo issue had been a thorn in Nangong Meili's heart. Dissolving Meng Xiaoquan's Lockhart goo could pull this thorn out. His daughter, upon uncovering that Sister Xiaochan had been caring for her under the effects of a Lockhart goo, would find it difficult to explain. Moreover, if he and Meng Xiaochan eventually had children, and the child discovered that their mother was still under the effects of a Lockhart goo, just the thought was headache-inducing. I don't want it, Lu Lang. Is it that you don't want Xiaochan anymore? However, upon hearing the elixir medicine's effects, Meng Xiaochan immediately appeared sorrowful, her beautiful eyes turning red. Lu Changsheng was taken aback, never expecting her to react this way. I'm just giving you the choice. He shook his head and said, No, Xiaochan feels this way is best. Meng Xiaochan implored, clinging tightly to him, shaking her head. At this moment, Lu Changsheng distinctly realized the domineering nature of the Lockhart goo. He didn't force her, planning to wait for Nangong Meili to return before giving it together. After all, that was his original intent. However, seeing Meng Xiaochan had been taking good care of his daughter for years, and noticing her somewhat lonely demeanor, he decided to offer the elixir medicine prematurely. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1389. The next day, Lu Changxing planned to take his daughter, Nangong Yaoyao, to play. Yaoyao, where do you want to go? Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter, whose eyes were filled with admiration and reliance, and asked with a smile. Yaoyao doesn't know either. Previously, Mother never let Yaoyao go far away for training. Can Daddy take Yaoyao to see the world? Today, Nangong Yaoyao was wearing a simple and elegant purple gauze dress. Her hair, like a waterfall of black silk, was styled into two playful big braids. The entire person radiated a fresh and elegant aura with a sunny and bright appearance. Her star-like eyes sparkled, her nose was small and exquisite, and her mouth was always adorned with a cute and sweet smile. Going far training. Lu Changsheng heard this, touched his chin, then nodded and said, All right. As he spoke, he lifted his daughter and soared high into the sky, entering the 9th heavenly gangwind layer. Buzz! The yin-yang mysterious divine light surged, like a layer of silk wrapping around his daughter, gently flowing. Daddy, is this the 9th heavenly gangwind layer? Nangong Yaoyao seemed a bit frightened, clinging to her father's arm. Her tender lips slightly parted as she observed her surroundings, speaking with a face full of wonder. Hasn't your mother brought you here before? Lu Changsheng glanced at the girl's porcelain-like fair face and laughed. Mother said it was too dangerous. The girl's pink lips pouted slightly. Haha, your mother wasn't wrong. Lu Changsheng wouldn't speak ill of Nangong Meili. Nascent soul cultivators can travel through the 9th heavenly gangwind layer. But if bringing someone along and encountering enemies or dangers, it would be a distraction, indeed carrying significant risk. But with Dad here, it's not a big problem. While speaking, Lu Changsheng patted his spiritual pet bag, and instantly a golden light filled the air, accompanied by a terrifying aura. Screech. S.E. of the novel, F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Golden all over, as if forged from gold, the golden-winged heavenly Peng appeared. If it were in the past, even though Lu Changsheng was a nascent soul cultivator, it would be somewhat troublesome to take his daughter far away. But now with the golden-winged heavenly Peng, going anywhere is much easier. Daddy! Nangong Yaoyao looked at the golden-winged heavenly Peng before her, instantly feeling a terrifying sense of danger, instinctively clinging tightly to Lu Changsheng's arm. Don't be afraid. This is Daddy's spiritual pet. Lu Changsheng patted her hand, signaling not to be afraid. Then he took Nangong Yaoyao onto the back of the golden-winged heavenly Peng. This is Daddy's spiritual pet. Nangong Yao Yao couldn't discern the strength of this golden-winged heavenly pung, but just by its appearance and presence, she understood that its strength far exceeded the third-ranked centipede of the Wind Centipede Envoy. Looking at Lu Changsheng's refined and handsome appearance, she was incredibly surprised. She wondered what kind of background her father had. Not only did he easily suppress the Wind Centipede Envoy, grant her such a rare, heavenly fragrance goo, but he also had such a stunning spiritual pet. Although the father and daughter had been together for a month, this father before her was still shrouded in mystery. Let's go. Daddy will take you to explore the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Lu Changxing spoke. Myriad Beasts mountain range is vast and boundless, with branches extending into Jin Kingdom. So he thought of taking his daughter there to expand her horizons and to see if there's any third-ranked Demon King to hunt. Whoosh! The golden-winged heavenly pung spread its wings, suddenly shooting out, tearing through the endless gang wind. Wow, wow! Nangong Yao Yao saw such speed, where the gang wind was ripped apart by the golden-winged heavenly pung, and couldn't help but cry out loud. If it weren't for the yin-yang mysterious divine light protecting her, she felt that the gang wind and speed could tear her to pieces. Daddy's so fast. Her fair, tender face flushed with a light pink hue, like a fine jade with powder, her starry eyes constantly looking around, excited like a little bird freed from its cage. Lu Changsheng watched his daughter gaze around, feeling amused. At this speed, she probably couldn't see anything clearly. With a flick of his finger, a mirror appeared before them, revealing a beautiful scenery below like a starry chessboard. Yao Yao, if you want to go anywhere, just say. Lu Changsheng addressed his daughter. Thank you, Daddy. Nangong Yao Yao's brows arched, her mouth curving into a charming smile, demonstrating innocence and playfulness. At this moment, she looked at Lu Changsheng's refined and handsome face and suddenly said, Daddy, this isn't your true appearance, is it? Look at my memory. Lu Changsheng patted his forehead, allowing a stream of chaos qi to flow across his face. The refined and handsome appearance of a middle-aged man instantly transformed into a 20-year-old, fair-skinned, handsome, deep-featured, and unearthly young man. Wow, wow, Daddy's so handsome. The girl looked at her father's unmatched handsome, seemingly glowing face, immediately cupping her cheeks with sparkling eyes, like a little fangirl. Previously, she felt she didn't resemble her father. Though her appearance was more like her mother's, it couldn't be that she inherited none of her father's features, right? Now seeing her father's true appearance, she suddenly understood. Moreover, she also somewhat understood why her mother was attracted to her father. Seeing his daughter's exaggerated expression, Lu Changsheng felt amused. However, this appearance certainly pushed emotional value to the maximum. Smiling, he ruffled her head and said, Yao Yao is still the prettiest. These words weren't mere flattery. His daughter's looks were indeed flawless, perfectly inheriting the exquisite features of her mother, Nangong Meili, naturally beautiful. Yet compared to Nangong Meili, she wasn't so alluring or charming, her features fitting perfectly together, giving an indescribable beauty, fresh and elegant yet with a touch of innocence. It's good inheritance from mom and dad. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1390. Nangong Yao Yao's purple gauze dress was covered with a crystalline and translucent yin-yang mysterious light, faintly glowing, exceedingly beautiful and ethereal. Hey, this seems to be Heartless Ridge. At this moment, she spotted a mountain range below and spoke up. Do you want to take a look? Lu Changsheng was not really familiar with this place, called Heartless Ridge. His understanding of the Jin Kingdom was limited to the conditions of a few major forces. No need, this is a spirit land governed by the Five Poisons cult. I've been here before with Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yao Yao spoke up, then began to introduce the situation here to Lu Changsheng. In this way, the father and daughter laughed and chatted on the golden-winged heavenly pung. From the Immortal Spider Marketplace to the branch of the Myriad Beast mountain range was quite a distance. But with the golden-winged heavenly Peng, they reached there in just 7 days. This speed made Nangong Yaoyao exclaim in surprise. Is this the Myriad Beasts mountain range? She looked at the endless mountains ahead, slightly raised her head, and said, Father, didn't you say there are many demon beasts in the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Why haven't I seen a single one? Lu Changsheng sometimes couldn't tell if his daughter was genuinely clueless or just pretending, and he laughed. Demon beasts are very sensitive to auras, with the aura of the golden Peng permeating. Of course, no demon beast dare to appear. Besides, this is just the outer region of the Myriad Beasts mountain range, so the number of demon beasts isn't large either. With the bloodline effect of the golden-winged heavenly Peng, it reigned supreme in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Previously, when Lu Changsheng entered the Myriad Beasts mountain range to slay demon kings and seize spirit veins, he had to spend some effort. But now with the golden Peng, through bloodline suppression, it can make a third-rank demon king inexplicably weakened by 3 gates. Oh right. The young girl suddenly looked enlightened, then giggled adorably, her big eyes constantly looking at the mountain range ahead, filled with endless curiosity and exploration. Dad, could you catch me a mount? Saw the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Suddenly, she tugged at Lu Changsheng's sleeve, her eyes full of hopeful anticipation. No problem. Lu Changsheng smiled and snapped his fingers. The golden-winged heavenly Peng immediately spread its wings in the air and shot towards the Myriad Beasts mountain range, tearing through the air. A third-ranked demon king. How could a third-ranked demon king appear here? From afar, the originally roaring and howling demon beasts were so frightened they shivered, unable to move. And some cultivators who were hunting demon beasts in the mountains had cold hands and feet, not daring to move, not knowing why a third-ranked demon king appeared in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. It seems someone is on top of that demon king. Gasp! Could this be the spiritual pet and mount of a nascent soul immortal? To act so arrogantly in the Myriad Beasts mountain range, it's definitely not an ordinary nascent soul immortal. A Foundation establishment demon hunting team looked in awe, envy, respect, and admiration at the distant golden-winged heavenly Peng. If I could become a nascent soul immortal in this life, it would be amazing, someone sighed in admiration and longing. A nascent soul immortal? You sure have big dreams? Even forming a false core would be enough to make my ancestors smile in heaven. Sigh, my wish is much simpler, just to earn enough spirit stones to settle down in Mingsha City. Mingsha City, really aiming high. A house there costs over 100,000 spirit stones. This group of Foundation establishment cultivators chatted and sighed for a bit, then continued to cautiously advance. My father is really something. Although Nangong Yaoyao had not been to the Myriad Beasts mountain range before, she had quite a bit of understanding about it. Seeing her father travel so blatantly, she was filled with emotion. During this time, her beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings to see if there were any decent demon beasts suitable as mounts. Actually, she didn't have much thought about mounts. If she truly wanted one, her mother Nangong Meili would have already prepared it for her. She simply thought that since they came to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, they should find something to do. Moreover, by frequently asking her father for help, she could give him a sense of being needed, thereby nurturing the father-daughter bond. Golden Peng, restrain your aura a bit. At this moment, Lu Changsheng spoke to the golden-winged heavenly Peng. If it continued emitting such spiritual pressure, apart from the third-rank demon kings, no demon beasts would dare to appear. And if he wanted to train his daughter by catching demon beasts, he naturally could only look for second-rank demon beasts. Even if he suppressed a third-rank demon king, his daughter could not possibly tame it. Even capturing second-rank demon beasts would prove challenging. Screech! The golden-winged heavenly Peng let out a prolonged cry, and its dazzling body dimmed significantly, its pervasive demon chi dropping from third rank to second rank. As a third-rank demon king, disguising its aura was naturally not a problem. However, under such a disguise, its strength and speed would definitely be affected. With the golden-winged heavenly Peng's aura restrained, occasionally some fierce bird demon beast would appear, roaring and howling at Lu Changsheng, thinking he was invading their territory. The bloodline grade of these demon beasts was not bad, so Lu Changsheng began capturing and hunting demon beasts with his daughter. Occasionally, when encountering some suitable demon beasts, he would let his daughter try her hand, testing her abilities. The methods of the Five Poisons cult are completely not suited for direct combat. Lu Changsheng thought to himself as he watched his daughter engage a bear demon. Nangong Yaoyao's methods mainly relied on goo poison as the main tactic, with charm as a supplement. Facing such demon beasts, she was even somewhat restrained. It was far from the simple, direct, and efficient methods of sword cultivators or talisman cultivators. However, as she possessed the flawless heavenly fragrance body, she couldn't cultivate other techniques, so he just prepared more means for her. "Ah, Father, help!" Nangong Yaoyao cried out for help when she saw the bear demon unaffected by poison and continuing to approach her. Splat! With a flick, Lu Changsheng instantly killed the bear demon. "Wow, Father is amazing!" The young girl immediately looked at Lu Changsheng with adoration, her eyes sparkling like stars. This is a bit exaggerated. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1391. Lu Changsheng smiled and flicked her smooth forehead lightly. "No way, it comes from the heart." Just like that, Lu Changsheng took his daughter through the Myriad Beasts mountain range, hunting demon beasts and searching for heavenly and earthly treasures as if they were on a sightseeing trip. "Wow, Daddy, you're amazing. Whoa, this roast meat is so delicious. How did you make it, Daddy?" "Daddy, there's another vein of minerals." During these days, Lu Changsheng's skills in spiritual slaughtering, spiritual cooking, and dragon-seeking technique were all showcased, making Nangong Yaoyao exclaim in awe throughout, sparkling with delight. Although her daughter's expressions bore some falseness. But one must admit, having her around indeed made it a lot more joyful, and it no longer felt boring. This day, outside the Immortal Spider Marketplace, a woman around 30 years old, with a breathtakingly beautiful and alluring appearance and stunning curves, dressed in a purple silk dress, descended from the sky looking hurried and somewhat travel-worn. "Greetings to the heavenly spider envoy. Greetings to the Lord." The cultivators stationed at the market quickly bowed respectfully upon seeing this exquisitely beautiful woman. However, Nangong merely didn't spare them a glance and transformed into a stream of rainbow light to swiftly enter the market after opening its formation. Normally, flying is prohibited in such marketplaces, but the rules naturally did not apply to Nangong Mealy. After arriving at Immortal Spider Peak, she held the sensing talisman, which remained silent, and a sudden ominous feeling surged in her heart. "Master, you've returned." A moment later, Meng Xiaochan hurried over, shouting with joy upon seeing Nangong Mealy. Even though she had been comforting Nangong Yaoyao before, she was somewhat worried about her master's situation. "Xiaochan, where's Yaoyao?" Nangong Mealy immediately asked. During her return, she had a sudden ominous premonition. So after crossing the border, she rushed back at full speed. But now seeing that her daughter Nangong Yaoyao was not in the market, the ominous feeling in her heart grew even stronger, her whole being tense with anxiety. Meng Xiaochan paused upon seeing her master in such a travel-worn state. After so many years together, she knew her master cared deeply about her appearance. Even in the face of life and death crises, with disguise and camouflage, she would maintain her looks and attire. Yet now, her master rushed back so hastily and showed anxiety as soon as she returned. Clearly something was amiss. She hesitantly said, "Master, Yaoyao is fine. She went out with Lu Changsheng for some fun days ago." "What?" Nangong Mealy's stunningly beautiful face changed at these words. She had previously wondered if the ominous feeling came from Lu Changsheng. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be true. Lu Changsheng had already arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace and had taken her daughter away. When did that bastard get here? Why would Yao Yao go out with him? Nangong Meili said immediately, her hands clenched tightly, with a vague nascent soul-level magic aura spreading. Lu Lang arrived here almost 2 months ago. Meng Xiaochan said. How is that possible? Nangong Meili exclaimed upon hearing this. She separated from him at the border. Even if his speed was slightly faster, he shouldn't have arrived so soon, right? Unless he made no stops at all at the border and rushed all the way. But there was a piece of spiritless land on the way, which would delay time considerably. All right, Master, Lu Lang said to give you this jade slip when you return. Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master in this state, knew something must have happened between them and Lu Lang. It's possible that her master rushed back in such a hurried and weary state, worrying that Lu Lang might lay a hand on Yao Yao. Could it be that master got thwarted by Lu Lang again? Meng Xiaochan thought of her master going to Jiang country, probably to trouble Lu Changsheng. Given that the wind centipede envoy had been subdued by Lu Lang, if her master had gone to cause trouble, it would be like an egg hitting a stone. Nangong Meili took the jade slip, and with a divine sense check. Meili, your husband has gone out to have some fun with Yao Yao. Don't worry. The jade slip contained only a simple message from Lu Changsheng. A gentle voice, but in Nangong Meili's ear, it sounded smug, as if teasing. Lu Changsheng. Nangong Meili gritted her teeth, and the jade slip in her hand shattered into powder with a POF sound. Master, don't worry. Lu Lang has no ill will towards Yao Yao. About the wind centipede envoy before. Meng Xiaochan quickly spoke up, recounting the incident where the wind centipede envoy had attempted to harm Nangong Yao Yao. What? The old ghost Tin dared to lay a hand on Yao Yao. Nangong Meili was taken aback by this, somewhat terrified, knowing that Lu Changsheng had subdued the wind centipede envoy to avoid trouble. He took her daughter out to play, and also to dodge the disaster. Her worry slightly eased. But thinking about Lu Changsheng being with her daughter, her heart was still uneasy. Xiaochan, what has Lu Changsheng been doing in the marketplace these days? She still looked worried as she asked Meng Xiaochan. Search * the novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1392, Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. On a cliff, Lu Changsheng was sitting with his daughter Nangong Yao Yao on a dark golden tiger skin rug. In front of them was a large cauldron, filled with dazzling light and flowing with purple mist, emitting a fragrant aroma. This was the meat of a third-rank demon beast, the purple flame Kuei ox, each piece of meat glistening with precious light. In addition, the pot was full of spiritual medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures. This was no longer just a spirit meal. It was entirely refining a cauldron of peerless treasure medicine. The fragrance of the medicine wafted through the air, and just one whiff brought a person to clarity and filled them with essence energy. This was something Lu Changsheng developed himself through spirit chef skills, alchemy skills, and a medicinal bath technique taught by Hong Lian in her early years. Simply put, it was about simmering various heavenly and earthly treasures and demon beast essences into a medicinal dish, then adjusting the taste through culinary skills. However, if other third-rank spirit chefs or spirit meal masters saw such behavior, they would definitely curse it as a waste of heavenly resources. After all, the blood and flesh of a third-rank demon beast was precious, and yet Lu Changsheng was braising it in one pot like this. All right, it's ready to eat. Lu Changsheng lightly flicked his fingers, slightly withdrawing the Thunder Gang dragon flame under the furnace, and smiled at his daughter. Wu, Nangong Yao Yao, was already impatient, holding her jade bowl, picking up a piece of beef, and putting it in her mouth without caring about her ladle-like image. At first, she was reserved and very elegant. But after spending time with her father, Lu Changsheng, who she knew to be unconstrained by trivial matters, Living in the wild meant there was no need to concern herself with so many formalities. Daddy, it's so delicious. Nangong Yao Yao looked at her handsome father, her bright eyes filled with delight. This wasn't an exaggeration. Third-rank demon beast meat is considered an upper-class ingredient, and each time, Lu Changsheng selected the finest parts, with excellent texture, incredibly translucent, and containing abundant essence energy. As soon as she swallowed, a surging medicinal force flowed through her body. These days, living with her father every day, feasting and reveling, she felt her cultivation foundation had become much more stable, and she could break through to the 5th layer of foundation establishment whenever she wanted. Eat as much as you like if you enjoy it, Lu Changsheng said with a smile as he served himself a bowl of soup to savor. Such medicinal dishes were in no way inferior to second-rank elixirs and could even be compared to some third-rank elixirs. Long-term consumption not only enhances cultivation, but also has effects like marrow cleansing and condensing one's physical foundation. However, at least a foundation establishment cultivation is needed to consume such medicinal meals. Ordinary people or energy-refining cultivators, even if they ate a little, might experience the issue of not being able to absorb the nutrients and having difficulty in digestion. Nangong Yao Yao ate with oil on her mouth, her face flushed, and her body radiated with crystalline dawn light as if bathed in a layer of divine glow. After eating enough, Nangong Yao Yao's blemish-free body suddenly burst with a dazzling aura, enveloping a mesmerizing fragrance, giving a flawless and pure vibe. Lu Changsheng noticed that his daughter's cultivation realm was beginning to break through on its own. With all the eating and drinking of these days, she had already accumulated abundant medicinal power, and it wasn't unusual for her to naturally break through her realm now. Daddy, Nangong Yao Yao called out to Lu Changsheng, setting down her bowl and chopsticks, and directly sat cross-legged to break through. She had long been able to break through, but had always been suppressing her cultivation realm. Since she was now reaching her limit, there was no need to continue suppressing. Focus on your breakthrough, Lu Changsheng softly said, instructing the golden-winged heavenly Peng to hover above, so as to prevent anyone or any demon beast from disturbing. Boom! No one knew how much time passed before a surging mana flooded Nangong Yao Yao's Qi Ocean core, pushing her cultivation from the 4th layer of foundation establishment to the 5th layer. CTH Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yao Yao, congratulations on advancing another step in your cultivation. Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter and smiled. It's all thanks to Daddy's feeding. The girl's tender face glowed with a slight blush, her eyes sparkling with a playful smile as she spoke. Ha! Lu Changsheng chuckled, knowing his daughter was already near the peak of the 4th layer, and he merely facilitated this step. Daddy, it seems like Mother has returned. At this moment, a jade token appeared in Nangong Yao Yao's hand, and she spoke to Lu Changsheng. Apart from a normal sensing talisman, she and her mother also had a sensing jade token to confirm each other's status. Now that the jade token was sending a signal, it indicated that her mother should have returned or was reassuring her of safety. Oh, Lu Changsheng raised an eyebrow, thinking to himself that Nangong Meili had returned sooner than he had expected. It's all right. I left a message for your mother, so there's no need to worry. If you want to go back sooner, we can also start the journey home now. Lu Changsheng could imagine Nangong Meili's anxious expression at this moment. Although he wanted to tease her a bit, he didn't intend to delay his return or take his daughter directly back to Jiang country. On one hand, when mother and daughter meet, the daughter would inevitably realize that his relationship with her mother isn't as great as she thought. So there was no need to do anything that might affect his image in his daughter's mind. On the other hand, Nangong Meili and the daughter share a deeper bond, and it would be impossible for her daughter to forsake her mother to go back with him. Also, through their time together, Lu Changsheng realized this daughter, though seemingly innocent and cute, was actually very perceptive and had her own ideas. If he were to reveal his situation, Unless Nangong Meili was willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain, she would likely not be willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain. But Nangong Meili would never agree to go to Bai Lake Mountain. Moreover, her personality wouldn't fit with Bai Lake Mountain. It would be like a fish out of water. If Nangong Meili ever decided to come to Bai Lake Mountain, even Lu Changsheng would feel uneasy, fearing she might cause trouble for his family. However, seeing that everything was fine with his daughter over here, Lu Changsheng wasn't as eager to take her back, feeling it best to go with the flow. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1393. Anyway, now that I have the golden-winged heavenly Peng, I can come and see them. Don't worry, Yao Yao. They'll arrange it accordingly. The young girl, unaware of her mother's anxiety, spoke obediently and adorably. Since that's the case, let's wander back, or see if there's anywhere else you'd like to go. Lu Changsheng said with a smile. At this very moment, Nangong Meili learned about her daughter's matters with Lu Changsheng from Meng Xiaochan, feeling extremely furious. She thought to herself that this lousy man indeed had a belly full of tricks, and she had mistakenly thought he had changed. This lousy man's words contained not a single truth. CTH novel F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Nangong Meili clenched her teeth and cursed. Next to her, Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master's angry demeanor, couldn't help but detect a hint of a couple's quarrel in the conversation for some reason. Xiaochan, when Yao Yao returns, notify me immediately. I have to return to the sect. Nangong Meili, seeing that her daughter was not there, did not linger and planned to return to the Five Poisons cult to handle the matters concerning the envoy of the Wind Wasp. Moreover, since this trip was part of her mission, she needed to report back immediately upon her return. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan responded earnestly. Nangong Meili returned to the Five Poisons cult and proceeded to the Five Saints Hall to pay respects. After a long time, the hall doors thunderously opened. Greetings, sect hierarch. Nangong Meili gracefully entered the grand hall, and upon seeing a little girl on the dais wearing a silver-crowned hairpin and a luxurious purple-red robe, barefoot, and appearing 7 or 8 years old, she bowed. Heavenly Spider Envoy, you have returned. Regarding the matters in Jiang country, I am aware of the Tianyuan secret realm. Did you gain anything within? Despite the girl's tender and crisp voice, it carried a weight of authority beyond her apparent age. Reporting to sect hierarch, Nangong Meili immediately began to recount what she had seen in the Tianyuan secret realm. As for how she escaped the Tianyuan secret realm, she did not elaborate. After all, explaining nothing would lead the Five Poisons cult leader to assume she used her trump card and life-saving means to escape. However, leaving things vague or fabricating lies would make it challenging to deceive a nascent soul true lord. This matter will be recorded as a merit for you. The Five Poisons cult leader's face was smooth and delicate, and her tender voice was mixed with the authority of a superior. Even though Nangong Meili achieved no gains, the unexpected outcome of the Tianyuan secret realm meant she was still credited. Your return is timely. Recently I have had discussions with the Immortal Lotus sect. The girl looked at Nangong Meili and revealed a secret. Immortal Lotus sect. Nangong Meili's beautifully enchanting face froze with surprise upon hearing this. She had, of course, heard of the renowned Immortal Lotus sect, one of the top powers in the southern wilderness. Although the Five Poisons cult was considered powerful in Jin Kingdom, with a nascent Soul True Lord residing there, it paled when compared to top powers like the Immortal Lotus sect in the southern wilderness. Sect hierarch, has someone from the Immortal Lotus sect come for something? Nangong Meili inquired softly. Though the Five Poisons cult is a force of the demon path, compared to these top-ranked demonic forces, it was rather insignificant and had little contact on ordinary days. Now that the Immortal Lotus sect suddenly sent someone to the Five Poisons cult, it was clear something was afoot. This is not your concern. The Immortal Lotus sect came to select a few promising seedlings to foster relations between our sects. The Five Poisons cult leader looked at Nangong Meili and spoke. Yes, sect hierarch. Nangong merely asked no more and replied respectfully. Previously, Elder Tan's attack on Yao Yao. Could it be because of this? As she walked out of the Five Saints Hall, Nangong Mealy's phoenix eyes narrowed, gleaming coldly as she muttered to herself. But thinking about the arrival of the Immortal Lotus sect, preparing to pick a few seedlings from the Five Poisons cult, her teeth gently bit into her lush red lips, her face changing erratically. Lu Qianjun, wearing a black cloak, was riding a flying shuttle, with a kunpung vaguely visible beneath his feet, speeding madly through the sky in a rainbow arc. However, he hadn't gone far when he felt a chilling cold sweeping over him, as if cold, eerie eyes were watching him. Looking up, he saw a white-boned throne appear unexpectedly ahead. A thin old man with crimson eyes, a terrifying visage, and a dark aura sat upon it. Ghost Demon True Master. Seeing the old man, Lu Qianjun was filled with horror, his muscles tensed. "Ah, young one, I didn't expect you to recognize this seat." The black-robed elder's crimson eyes watched Lu Qianjun, leaning forward, his smile sinister as he spoke. As he spoke, Lu Qianjun felt shrouded by a chilling, sinister aura. From every direction, invisible ghostly hands appeared, gripping his limbs and throat, making him immobile and unable to breathe. "Run! Keep running! Weren't you good at escaping? Why aren't you running now?" The ghost demon True Master, seated on the white bone throne, spoke with an icy voice that seemed to come from the netherworld hell, freezing one's soul. Lu Qianjun instantly turned pale, his mana in disarray, his muscles uncontrollably trembling as if cramping. This was the gap between foundation establishment and core formation. Even if he cultivated the yin-yang 5 elements Kunping technique and had numerous trump cards, even killing a foundation establishment peak before a core formation true man, absolute power left him powerless. "Young one, rest assured this seat will not kill you so easily. I will make you wish for death, let you experience the pain of a myriad ghosts devouring the heart, and then refine you into my myriad soul banner, as a tribute to my son's spirit." The ghost demon True Master's voice was cold as ice, his crimson eyes emitting chilling beams that caused Lu Quanzhen's body pain, and he groaned, coughing up blood. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1394. The gap is too great. The gap between foundation establishment and nascent soul is too vast. Even though he still had cards up his sleeve, he couldn't use them at this moment. "The old ghost, you turtle finally got caught by me." At this moment, a burly giant man, standing over 10 feet tall, appeared, looking at the ghost demon True Master. His voice was resonant, thundering like a storm, and he shouted loudly, Heaven-shaking old ghost, how come you're here?" The ghost demon True Master's crimson, ghostly eyes contracted when he saw this giant man. As a demon path true man, he naturally had many enemies. The giant man before him was one of his enemies, and a particularly feared one. He held a pitch-black gourd wrapped in sinister patterns in his hand, aimed at Lu Qianjun, and unplugged the stopper. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, a great wind blew, as if a ghostly figure emerged from the gourd, directly pulling Lu Qianjun into it. Facing this gourd technique, Lu Qianjun was completely powerless to resist. "Caught by me today? Let's see where you can run." CTH Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The giant man looked at the ghost demon True Master, letting out a wild roar, his voice like the roar of 10,000 beasts, shaking the heavens and the earth, causing the air to continuously explode. The giant physique, towering over 10 feet tall, grew even more robust, like a savage dragon, charging at the ghost demon True Master. Swoosh! The ghost demon True Master was well aware of the giant man's strength. Not only did he possess core formation middle stage strength, but he also had third-rank late-stage body refinement, making him absurdly difficult to deal with. He immediately used the white bone, thrown to flee. But the giant man, who had spent so much effort, even deliberately used Lu Qianjin to lure the ghost demon true master, would not let him escape so easily. Boom, boom, boom. After exchanging several rounds, the ghost demon true master looked at the giant man, who was as large as a hill and covered in demon runes, and coldly said, "Heaven-shaking old ghost, do you really think you can take this true man so easily?" "That's right. Unless I beat the crap out of you, old ghost, today, count yourself lucky if you're clean." The giant man's every move carried terrifying force. The ghost demon true master, who had easily suppressed Lu Quanzhen's technique and divine ability earlier, found him completely ineffective in the face of the giant man and could only keep fleeing. Meanwhile, inside the ghost demon true master's pitch-black gourd, Lu Qianjin, being sucked into the gourd, instantly felt his body freezing, as if plunged into an ice cave, and smelled an intense stench of blood and rot, making him instinctively uncomfortable. He looked at the situation around him, surrounded by darkness, with demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy churning and rolling. Beneath his feet was a pool of blood, seemingly eroding his vitality and essence blood. Bang! Lu Qianjin made a gesture incantation with both hands. A small five-colored fish appeared in his palm, swiftly shooting out, colliding with the dark wall, but causing no harm. This seems to be a magical treasure. To break out now would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lu Quanzhen's expression was somewhat grim, knowing that with his current strength, breaking through this gourd was impossible. The only hope was for the other nascent soul true man to slay the ghost demon true master. But this person does not seem like a righteous cultivator. Even if he kills the ghost demon true master, had unlikely released me out of goodwill. Lu Qianjin knew he couldn't pin his hopes on others and continued to assess the situation. This pool of blood and the blood fiend energy will continuously erode my physical body, depleting my mana and essence blood. At this rate, in just 10 days to half a month, they'll be turned into blood pulp. After a moment, Lu Qianjin realized that this gourd was no simple object. He only had a few days left. If he couldn't escape the gourd, it would be a dead end. But considering the situation, even if he escaped the gourd, with 2 nascent soul cultivators outside, it would be difficult for him to escape. Rather than sitting here waiting for death, I might as well take a gamble. He looked at the blood pool and blood fiend energy, his slanted eyes glinting with fierceness, making a decision. Previously in the Black Mist Swamp, he resolved the issue of toxic miasma erosion through the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique taught by his uncle, narrowly avoiding danger. Now, facing this predicament, he thought of this cultivation technique again. He planned to directly cultivate this demonic technique, using the blood pool and blood fiend energy here for cultivation. If his cultivation level broke through to foundation establishment late stage, with his trump cards, he might be able to grasp a slim chance of survival. No sooner said than done. Lu Qianjin didn't hesitate. He was already thoroughly familiar with the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique, and after comprehending it deeply, he sat cross-legged in the blood pool, starting to operate this demonic technique. Buzz! As Lu Qianjin ran his cultivation, tadpole-like pitch-black runes slowly surfaced on his body, and his 84,000 pores became like black holes, emitting a menacing and mysterious aura. Crimson fish appeared around him, howling and roaring, merging into a formidable and terrifying Kunpeng phantom. Roar! The Kunpeng let out a roar, opening its abyss-like mouth. Instantly, surging demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy rushed into Lu Quanzhen's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1395, Hiss. As soon as the qi mechanism entered his body, Lu Quanzhen's face showed a look of pain. Blood spots seeped from his pores on the flesh covered in mysterious runes. This demonic qi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy were violently chaotic, bone-chillingly cold, and fiercely vicious, entirely incomparable to the poison miasma of the black mist swamp he encountered before. In an instant upon entering the body, they frantically eroded and destroyed his meridians and flesh, as though being cut by knives and saws, causing him excruciating pain. Kunpeng devouring heaven. Lu Quanzhen's face was distorted with fierce contortions, and behind him, the Kunpeng demon shadow roared and howled, emanating a dark blood glow resembling a black hole, devouring the rolling demonic chi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy, refining them into the energy required for the Kunpeng demon technique. Boom, boom, boom. A series of resonant booms echoed within Lu Quanzhen's body, and intertwining blood-colored patterns spread across his skin, emitting a terrifying blood light, intertwining with the mysterious runes, looking eerily dazzling. He gritted his teeth tightly and began to operate the yin-yang 5 elements Kunpeng technique. This cultivation technique is divided into 2 volumes, and they must be cultivated together for maximum power. Moreover, if one doesn't practice the yin-yang 5 elements Kunpeng technique and only practices the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique, it is extremely easy to go into deviation, affecting the mind, and even suffering heavenly retribution. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As the 2 cultivation techniques operated simultaneously, small 5-colored fish swam out from his chi ocean core, flowing around his body, balancing with the Kunpeng demon shadow that emanated a dark blood glow. However, during this process, Lu Qiuanzhen realized something was amiss. At this moment, the preliminary fusion of the 2 cultivation techniques was affecting the efficiency of the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique, preventing it from reaching maximum effectiveness. There is simply no time for me to merge the 2 cultivation techniques into one. Moreover, the presence of demonic chi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy here makes it difficult to maintain balance. Lu Quanzhen's body was covered in bizarre patterns, glowing with a dark blood light. Practicing the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique was already extremely dangerous, necessitating finding a quiet place for closed-door cultivation. But now, he was facing a life-and-death crisis, leaving him with no choice. There's no time to hesitate. If I can't escape before the ghost demon true master becomes alert, I will only meet a dead end. He did not hesitate and immediately abandoned the yin-yang 5 elements Kunpeng technique to fully operate the Kunpeng devouring heaven demonic technique. Roar, roar, roar. The Kunpeng demon shadow opened its abyssal maw, letting out a roar as countless demonic chi, ghost energy, and blood fiend energy flowed into the Kunpeng's black hole-like giant mouth, seemingly forging a black hole, making the dark bloodlight increasingly thick. Ugh! Lu Quanzhen's face was grimacing in pain, cold sweat streaming down, while his body, covered in bizarre patterns, seeped blood, making him look terrifying. Though this process was excruciating, he could clearly feel his cultivation rapidly increasing, about to break through to the Foundation Establishment's 6th layer. Although this increase might lead to an unstable realm and shaky foundation, he deeply realized the terror of this cultivation technique. As long as one unleashed it with all their might, progress would be rapid beyond belief. No wonder Uncle warned me not to cultivate this technique before breaking through to core formation. Once this cultivation technique is practiced, it's equivalent to embarking on a path of no return. Previously, Lu Qiuanzhen believed he could maintain his integrity and not be lost by power. But now, cultivation is cultivating the mind. Only power is eternal. Undefeated power naturally nurtures an invincible mind. What I need now is the quickest power boost. Only then can I grasp a slim chance of survival. Lu Quanzhen's cold eyes glowed with a dark bloodlight, his expression firm. At this moment, concepts like foundation, side effects, and losing oneself were all thrown out of his mind. Because only by living can one consider other matters. 9th Heavenly Gang Wind Layer. A golden rainbow light ripped through the endless gang wind. Aware that Nangong Meili had returned, Lu Changsheng did not linger long with his daughter Nangong Yaoyao outside. After taking a few days to travel back, seeing his daughter's eagerness to return, he sped up to hurry back to Immortal Spider Marketplace. Buzz! At this moment, a rush of mana suddenly surged out of nowhere, causing Lu Changsheng to pause slightly. Who else has made a breakthrough? Lu Changsheng could sense that someone seemed to have broken through to the Foundation Establishment middle stage. But he remembered that none of the Foundation Establishment children should have been suitable for this stage. He silently pondered, opened the system, and took a quick glance. Name, Lu Qianjin. Lifespan, 60 of 169. Talent, 4th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, Foundation Establishment 6th layer. Talent, combat law compatibility, 69%. Qianjin has reached the Foundation Establishment 6th layer? Lu Changsheng was somewhat surprised. He remembered that 2 years ago, his son Lu Qianjin had just broken through the 5th layer of Foundation Establishment. To have progressed from the 5th to the 6th layer in just 2 years. This speed was indeed quite astonishing. However, he also noticed one thing. His son's lifespan had shortened considerably since before. As a Foundation Establishment cultivator, having only 169 years of life was undoubtedly a short lifespan. What has Qianjin been doing these years? Lu Changsheng furrowed his brow. While it's true that many cultivators in the cultivation world use the life-burning secret technique in dangerous situations, search asterisk the novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It shouldn't be used frequently. Overuse would not only shorten life, but also affect the foundation, leading to difficult-to-solve aftereffects. Considering that his son was likely still in Jin Kingdom, he was considering letting Meng Xiaochan investigate later to find Lu Qianjin. Otherwise, he really felt uneasy about his son's situation. Dad, what's wrong? Is something happening? Beside him, Nangong Yao Yao, adept at reading people's expressions, noticed her father frowning and immediately asked with a concerned and innocent face. Haha, nothing's wrong. Lu Changxing smiled and said, By Lake Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1396. Why is it so lively outside? At Baiyun Peak, in a courtyard, Yu Fei, with a swollen belly, heard the commotion outside and was somewhat curiously surprised. A moment later, she knew it was because Lu Ancestor's son, Lu Xingqian, was happily marrying a woman. Sister Yu Fei, there is a joyous event in the family today. Would you like to take a look? At this time, Lu Miaoyun and Lu Changsheng came over, looking at Yu Fei, who was holding her belly. Thank you, Sister Lu. My body isn't feeling well. I want join in the excitement. Yu Fei gently caressed her 9-month pregnant belly, shaking her head, even though she was much older than Lu Miaoyun. But since she married Lu Changsheng as a concubine, she naturally called Lu Miaoyun's sister. Feier, take a good rest. I will come to accompany you later. At this moment, Lu Changxing nodded with a smile, softly saying, then he left with Lu Miaoyun to Baiyun Villa. At this time, Baiyun Villa was lit up and festive. Xingqian, congratulations. Congratulations, congratulations. Brother, happy wedding. Lu Xingqian was exceptionally talented, easygoing, and he was also a doctor and an alchemist, so he had very good relationships with others. Of course, Lu Xingqian was the first among the Lu family disciples to establish his family early after breaking through Foundation establishment, so the Lu family paid much attention to this marriage. Greetings, Father Andy. Greetings to the Mountain Master. Greetings to the lady. Greetings to Lu Ancestor, Lu Madam. Seeing Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun arriving, all the Lu family disciples and guests immediately saluted respectfully. No need for formalities. Though Lu Miaoyun looked youthful like a girl of 16 or 17, she was graceful and composed with an air of dignity. With their arrival, the wedding ceremony began in an orderly fashion, although it was not a grand affair with many guests invited. Owing to the Lu family's reputation, surrounding family forces would come uninvited at the news, not only to foster good relations with By Lake Mountain. Even meeting Lu Xingqian, the Lu family's alchemist, was worthwhile. First bow to heaven and earth. Second bow to the parents. Husband and wife bow to each other. Send to the bridal chamber. The atmosphere by Lake Mountain is really extraordinary. Now, with the elder Lu Changsheng in his prime, and Lu Pingon, such a body-refining talent and nascent soul seed present, there might indeed be hope for becoming a core formation noble family in the future. After Wang Yanjing and Lu Xingchen bowed to heaven and earth and were sent to the bridal chamber, she felt a little emotional. Then, thinking about her family's current situation, she sighed deeply. Sister Jing. After a long time, Lu Xingchen, having finished offering the wine, came to the bridal chamber and saw Wang Yanjing, draped in a phoenix crown and rosy cloud's robe, sitting upright, and called out happily. In their early years, they called each other Taoist friends. But as they became more familiar, Lu Xingchen discovered that Wang Yanjing knew a lot and was aware of many things. So during their interactions, he often consulted her and gradually began to call her Sister Jing. We are now husband and wife. Wang Yanjing spoke up upon hearing this. Oh, it's time to drink the nuptial wine. Upon hearing this, Lu Xingchen immediately realized, called the maid to lift the head cover with a jade balance beam, and then drank the nuptial wine with her. Wang Yanjing looked at the gentle and refined young man in front of her, slightly dazed, not expecting that she would choose to marry someday. She had met many men in her early years who were even more outstanding than Lu Xingchen. Yet at that time, she was solely focused on cultivation, with no thoughts of romance. This serious injury, her cultivation realm fell. Living a simple life she never had early on completely changed her mindset and thoughts. This must be the right person at the right time. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With a smile in her eyes, Wang Yanjing thought this way. Sister Jing. After drinking the nuptial wine, looking at Wang Yanjing, Lu Xingchen laughed, showing his teeth. He also didn't expect that after saving her back then, they would become husband and wife. Call me wife. Seeing his silly demeanor, Wang Yanjing said with a hint of annoyance. Oh. Lu Xingchen hurriedly smiled and called out wife. Husband. Wang Yanjing smiled gently, softly called him, her brows showing a bit of shy beauty, captivating beyond belief. As Lu Changsheng and Nangong Yaoyao returned to the Immortal Spider Marketplace, a purple silhouette shot towards them, embracing Nangong Yaoyao, full of longing and worry, and said, Yaoyao, are you all right? Nangong Meili, what do you mean by this? Lu Changsheng, seeing this scene, was instantly displeased. He had brought his daughter back at the first instance, yet she seemed so tense and defensive, as if Lu Ancestor would harm his own daughter. Nangong Meili instinctively wanted to greet Lu Changsheng warmly. But thinking of her daughter beside her, she swallowed her words and snorted coldly. Mother, I'm all right. Daddy took me to the Myriad Beast mountain range and even caught 2 spiritual pets for me. Nangong Yaoyao quickly realized that there seemed to be an issue between her parents, pretended not to know, and cheerfully said with an adorable laugh, Myriad Beasts mountain range. Nangong Meili was surprised to hear this. It should be noted that from Immortal Spider Marketplace to Myriad Beasts mountain range, even with her utmost speed, it would take more than half a month. Yet Lu Changsheng and daughter Nangong Yaoyao took only about a month for their outing. In this time, the two even had time to play and catch spiritual pets. At this moment, Nangong Meili could determine that Lu Changsheng must have some kind of flying magical treasure or mount with extremely fast speed. Thinking about him having such a mount treasure, but not using it when traveling with her, Nangong Meili felt quite annoyed. Could it be that this vile man deliberately tormented me along the way? Recalling the journey, Nangong Meili felt humiliated and aggrieved, shooting a fierce look with her beautiful, clear, phoenix eyes at Lu Changsheng. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1397. Yaoyao, I have something to tell you. She didn't look much at Lu Changsheng and immediately led her daughter away. Father. Nangong Yaoyao looked back at Lu Changsheng, blinked her big eyes, indicating she had listened to her mother first. Although she was close to her mother, she had grown fond of Lu Changsheng as her father during their time together. Search *The Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Seeing the relationship between her parents, she wondered if she could understand it better, perhaps act as a mediator to ease tensions. Go ahead. Lu Changxing smiled. With his daughter around, he didn't bother to argue with this woman, Nangong Meili. Otherwise, he would tell her why the millstone was so red. Wait. Lu Changsheng remembered he still had the Wind Centipede envoy suppressed within his formless treasure wheel and called out to Nangong Meili. What is it? Nangong Meili's figure was graceful, with curves that were bewitching. Her seductive and charming face was as cold as frost, without a shred of friendliness. Bang! An elder with disheveled hair, looking battered and with a centipede scar on his face, was thrown to the ground by Lu Changsheng. Treating this Wind Centipede envoy, Lu Changsheng naturally wouldn't be as gentle as he was with Nangong Meili. To prevent the envoy from causing trouble within the formless treasure wheel, he directly punched him, breaking all his bones. Then, under the dual restraining and suppressing forces of the yin-yang qi grasp and formless treasure wheel, he also used the Tai Divine Soul to injure his soul, causing him to pass out entirely. This person previously caused trouble for Yao Yao. Handle this matter. Lu Changsheng said directly. He believed Meng Xiaochan had already told Nangong Meili about this, so he was too lazy to elaborate. He'll take care of this matter. Nangong Meili no longer showed a cold face, her delicate, jade-like hand lightly raised, directly sweeping away the Wind Centipede envoy like a dead dog. Although this person was also an envoy of the Five Poisons cult, their relationship was not great. Moreover, he dared to lay hands on her daughter. If not for the rules of the cult, she would have directly killed him. Master! At this time, Meng Xiaochan hurried over and called out to Nangong Meili. Xiaochan, I have something. Nangong Meili initially wanted to call her disciple Meng Xiaochan away too. But considering Meng Xiaochan was now affected by the Lockhart goo, which had already influenced her soul, and since Lu Changsheng previously agreed to unlock the Lockhart goo for Meng Xiaochan, she swallowed her words back. I have something to say to Yao Yao, so you entertain him for now. Nangong Meili spoke indifferently. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan immediately showed a look of joy. During this period, she was also troubled by the relationship between Lu Changsheng and her master. She felt caught between them, unsure of how to proceed. Upon hearing her master's words, she felt relieved, sensing that their relationship was not as tense as she imagined. Xiaochan, I have something to ask you too. Lu Changsheng looked at Meng Xiaochan and said, just yesterday, through the system enhancement, he saw that his son Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level had reached yet another breakthrough. From the 6th layer to the 7th layer of foundation establishment. In just a few days, he had broken through from the 5th layer to the 6th layer, and now to the 7th layer. This speed was simply astonishing. He naturally welcomed such things. But the problem was, he noticed his son Lu Quanzhen's lifespan had decreased again. This made the situation somewhat bizarre, with cultivation breakthroughs happening rapidly, yet the lifespan kept reducing. So, Lu Changsheng thought of investigating his son's situation through Meng Xiaochan to see what was going on. All right. Meng Xiaochan immediately took Lu Changsheng to a side hall, served him tea and water, and inquired about his concerns. Xiaochan, I'd like you to help me find someone. Lu Changsheng spoke. Lu Lang, go ahead. Meng Xiaocan's beautiful eyes, filled with purple light, glimmered as she spoke with a smile at Lu Changsheng. Being with Lu Changsheng, even if they said nothing, filled her with joy. His name is Lu Qiuanjin, cultivation level at foundation establishment middle stage. Lu Changsheng flicked his fingers, a water mirror appeared, revealing the appearance of his son Lu Qiuanjin. Lu Qiuanjin? Meng Xiaochan looked at the image in the water mirror, her brows slightly furrowed, feeling she had seen him somewhere before but failed to recall. Oh, and he has a 6-winged golden silkworm. Seeing her reaction, Lu Changxing added, What? A six-winged golden silkworm? Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan immediately remembered seeing the person on a wanted notice somewhere, and exclaimed, Lu Lang, has this person practiced the poison technique? Poison technique? I wouldn't know that. Why, have you seen him? Lu Changsheng, although aware that his son's cultivation method was the yin-yang five elements Kunping technique, hadn't seen him in years and was unsure about other aspects. I think I have seen him. Meng Xiaochan recalled chasing the person once, biting her lip lightly, and said, recently, there was a cultivator named Chu Chantian who was in some commotion because he was wanted by the ghost demon True Master. Since he had the six-winged golden silkworm, I was also monitoring him and even encountered him, Chu Chantian. Upon hearing this name, Lu Changxing instantly determined that this person was indeed his son Lu Qianjin. After all, people don't use their real names when outside, and the name differed from his uncle's, Chu Chang'e, by just one character. It must be him. Xiaochan, tell me about the ghost demon True Masters want to notice. What's going on? Lu Changsheng immediately inquired. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible.